welcome to another episode of Vaseline with Stu's Tactical Tuesday. Here we have part 3 of deconstructing S55. The Russians made it to the base of the hill, getting ready to assault the Germans in their final defense line, taking the building over in FF7, I believe. Control the bottom of the map, got our 4 buildings, nothing's going to change down there. FF7's probably going to be secure. Now we're going to focus on the combat and the action and the decisions that we need to think about in terms of what we're going to do to manhandle the Germans out of one of those buildings. You could take a couple of approaches. You could fire first, move later, move first, fire later, or perhaps a combination of the two. So we discuss those options to us. We also discuss viewers' questions. Points of discussion come up in terms of how to manage your units. We go into that with a lot of detail, how to organize your units, how to assign tasks to your units to give them something to do during the scenario, because each part of the scenario, you can have different things going on, different tempos at different types of the map. On the left-hand side, you might have, guys just securing buildings. And the right-hand side, you got to be dropping smoke, doing assault moves, doing close combats, throwing demo charges, whatever. The action might be heavy over here and very light over here. So knowing how to manage those in the same game can be a skill or an obstacle to overcome for some. So we discuss that and many other things in this week's Tactical Tuesday. Enjoy.
I only started SK. I started looking at some of the other scenarios, yeah. I only started SK as a result of COVID.
Okay.
Because I pulled out my old ASL file, which has been gathering dust for about 20 odd years.
Right.
Thought, oh shit, started looking for, good old YouTubes, fell across starter kit, and I've ended up getting it. So
Well, good deal.
So I'm a sort of 1 month. I used to play squad leader back in the day and advanced squad leader back in the 80s. And then everything took a holiday as real life took over.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And now I'm coming back into it.
No
and
worries.
At the moment, I'm mainly hacking my way through SK1.
Okay, good deal. This is this scenario is S55. I think it is from an operations manual. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
My opponent sent this. I didn't have the scenario, so he obviously had to share the scenario with me. I don't even know where the heck it is, to be honest. I think it's around here somewhere. But anyway, so yeah, so it's out of some operations manuals, not in any of the modules, but pretty much it's just an infantry fight. It's a building control.
Yep.
So right now, what you see is the culmination of 5 turns of Russian movement and engagement. The victory conditions are to obtain 3 different buildings. Let me switch this over. Hold on. 3 different... That's all screwed up. 3 different buildings on the top edge, and so that you have to have 3 victory conditions or 3 victory buildings on the top, but you need 7 buildings total of multi-hex buildings. And so therefore you also need buildings on the bottom of the map as well. And there you have a contingent of... You had a contingent of Romanians that were down there attacking them. Again, if you have seen the other videos, you've seen how that was done, and my strategy was pretty much to ignore them and to go straight for the mandatory victory conditions, and then come back and then gather as many of these as possible. And that's kind of where we are there. We're going to talk about just a little bit. I dismissed both the bottom and the upper left at the end of the last session, but we're going to revisit them very quickly. Essentially the bottom one, we're going to look at that in case I missed something and someone else has been looking at it saying, oh, hey, that looks pretty nice. But there's that. So yeah, we're kind of open here. If you have a question about what we're discussing, or you see something that's out of the ordinary or what have you, feel free to either if it's something really pressing, go ahead and interject then, or wait at the end of obviously end of a concept or a pause and say, hey, I got a question, or whatever like that. Or a lot of times I'll solicit questions, and then you can pop right in. But if you could, since you have the scratchy mic going on, all I ask is just to mute your mic As you're
I'm on a tick.
not speaking, or my mic's on. There's not even press. You can do press to talk or whatever you want to do, but that way, like if you have some errant background or somebody's calling or something like that, you can manage all that communication or the sounds on your end, and they won't transmit to everyone else's experience
Right.
here.
You still got sound coming through, have you? Yeah.
Yeah. You'll see the mic on the bottom left corner. It shows your identity, Fennec.
No, where am I? Oh, wait a minute.
Bottom left of your
That's on
Discord.
the Discord.
Of your Discord,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got the mute button there.
Yeah, you can mute.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have an easy mute thing on your mic, or
I've got an on-off switch, which is just as good.
yeah. I would mute. I would probably mute it here on Discord because it will put a symbol next to your name saying you're muted. Some guys have their Discord open and closed. I don't know. I've got two screens, so I could have it on the secondary screen. It's not a problem for me.
Yeah.
But
okay, I got it.
And so, but yeah.
Well, I intend to mainly watch, to tell you the truth, because
okay.
it's the wee hours of the morning here,
yeah.
and I'm just hoping to see if I'm doing things right.
Okay. Well,
since I haven't played a Vassal game yet.
You haven't played a Vassal game yet. Okay.
I've only had Vassal for a couple of weeks.
Excellent. Wow. That's crazy. Okay, so I'm going to challenge you if this time is conducive to your gaming and learning. Feel free to log your games, and if you know how to log your games, I have a. If you don't know how to log your games, I've got a. Click in here. I've got like a list of how to log your game. It's the links resources section. And that will tell you, that will describe how to log your games. And what that will do is it will record all your moves. Every single move you make, all the dice rolls you make. Obviously, it won't record the audio, but if you type anything in the control box, the Vassal control window box, it will record that in your log file. And therefore, like if you want to make a note, hey, I don't understand this concept. Did I do this right? That way, when you review your logs, which I've been doing with various players, it could spark like a hey, this is a good question moment. So I've had a number of logs from a lot of the gentlemen here, from Keith, from John, independent logs. We've set up various different scenarios. Even people that I've watched online, I've taken their end game situation and we just kind of like broke it down. We're not here to criticize anyone. All we're doing is to point out not necessarily the best way, but different ways that you could possibly approach something, and different ways of thinking. Simply because it's not the same game all the time. That's what makes Squad Leader good. It's not the same game. You don't want to do the same thing every single game. If you do the same thing every single game, you will have success from time to time, but more than likely it's based upon those scenarios conditions which accentuate your particular strategy. So and that's like I say, that's what makes Squad Leader great. Every game you're going to have to switch it up just a little bit. Hopefully, I mean, if the same boring strategy works, like the skulk, like the I watched the game the other day. It was all the guy did was skulk back off the board because the guy had to eliminate him. It's like those aren't real games. Those are just operations of movement. That's pretty much. It's not like a real game. You're not really. There's no engagement there. So unless there's an engagement in the game and the game is kind of fun. Yeah, you're pushing counters around, you're rolling dice, but is it really a game? And that's kind of what I like to focus on. I kind of like to avoid some certain types of games, but that's my personal preference. And guys like large, huge, giant armor conflicts. This is called Squad Leader for a reason, not Armor Leader. And so I focus more on the squad aspect of it. There's enough to the game that you could just play the infantry section and still be quite busy and quite
I'm beginning to find that, yes, definitely.
Yeah, so there's that. But anyway, let's get started. We got it's 5:37. Again, welcome Fennec. Fennec's from the UK, guys, in case you haven't noticed.
Good evening, everyone. Or good morning.
Yeah. So, and then...
Okay, I'm going to mute the mic now, so
very cool, very cool.
I don't disturb you. And then I'll just listen in and see how things trundle along. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, good deal.
Okie doke. I'll leave you. Right.
Thanks. And I thank you, John, for sending me Keith's file and the other gentleman's file. I did review those things, and hopefully we can go over there at the end, or maybe just after the game if you want to discuss those. I looked at one routing instance, and I actually got it kind of wrong, but it's an interesting instance where something weird might happen, but it's neither here nor there. So, continuing on from where we are before, this is where the game was put on delay or ceased to continue. We have the situation, of course, upper left-hand corner. The enemy just skulked out of the building and gave us the free building up on the upper left in DD7 and EE7. Free building changes the complexion down there. Down the bottom, the potential to regain these buildings down here is very low, but I would honestly like to go over that first. If anyone has any thoughts or questions, say, hey, Stu, you said there's no way he could retain those buildings. I think he can. I think we can go over that pretty quickly, 5 or 10 minutes or so. Well, 5 or 10 minutes, my time is like geologic time. So, and then we'll get to the nitty-gritty part up here. We might not complete the top part up there simply because I'll give you my 2 thoughts on what I think I need to do as the Russians. Again, I'm contemplating both of those, and this is very important when we get up there. So I'm not going to waste time talking about that now since we're not there. So let's start with the bottom. I mean, if you guys would agree with me that pretty much other than the unit in the J0 location, right between the boards that's broken, that could potentially rally. I actually haven't rallied him yet. So let's go ahead and shit, Fenix, since you're the new guy, go ahead and hit the rally roll to see if we could self-rally this unit right here. Excellent. I knew I called you for a reason. So he's going to be rallied this turn. Okay. Again, this is the new thing. Actually, it's a 4-5. I thought it was 6-2-8. So he adds another variation down here on the bottom. Wow, it's the Russian player turn. So yeah, the Germans are the Romanians are pretty much screwed. So your guys' thoughts down here at the bottom. Where do you think the Romanians can either stop the Russians from getting more buildings, or perhaps retaking? They have to retake at least one of those buildings and stop the Russians from getting any buildings. Do you guys see anything that I may have missed to allow that to happen, or to make that happen? Whether by CXing or baiting or jumping into close combat. Your thoughts on that, guys? I mean, this is open right here. There's no right or wrong answer. I can't see that occurring, you know, effectively. So M7, let's say I don't do anything down here at the bottom as the Russians. The CX is going to come off in the movement phase, right, of the unit in K4. So that'll be gone at the beginning of his movement phase. So most likely the Russians don't, this Russian unit here doesn't even need to move over to L5. Could it move to L5? Yeah, it could, but it's safe there. It can't really take any shots, and you know, it could move over to M5, but you know, a 6+4, you never know who gets lucky. If it gets breaks, then he might get screwed, because he's the only one that's going to be able to retake these buildings kind of effectively. If this unit makes it, the 447 makes it up top for whatever reason, see, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Assuming it's the Romanian's player turn, the Russians did nothing during this turn, then that would be his action. He'll retake that building, but then the Russians, again, what we said last time, can simply go here and here, go here for assault move. That LOS is very iffy between these two units. We could check it. It looks very iffy to me. And yes, it's blocked right here, right at the L3 M3 location. If you want to zoom in on that, looks like it's blocked to me. You could draw a line of sight if you wish, and then he could simply advance into this building, because the Romanians have no more movement phases. He has one movement phase, so he gets that building and we get this one. So that's a wash. This 347 potentially could go to this building to counter that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then advance. That is a possibility, right? We've got one shot here, and then we've got a subsequent first fire right there because he's also 2 hexes away. So let's take that into account. It's again, you've got to dodge a -2 shot here, and even if he doesn't fire, the 347's got to take a -2, 4 -2, and then a 2 -2 here as well, or 2 even, assuming he moves into the orchard. Okay, we're going to assume he moves into the orchard here and does the right thing. This LOS might be clear to that. That's pretty close. It doesn't appear to be on both sides of the string in L5, so that will be clear, but you will have 1 hindrance here, so that'll be a 4 even shot on him there. So we got a 4 -2, 2 even, or 2 -1 for non-assault movement, and then a 4 even over here. So he's taking 3 shots. If he gets to that building, right, then we simply assault move advance phase down here. So we lost this one, but we gained this one. Or what we could do is we could assault move advance phase here and get that building. Well, actually, we can't get that building because Bogdan's there. We'd have to go down here. So I don't really see a high percentage chance of him doing that. The only other thing he could do is possibly take this leader down here and reoccupy that building. You know, if this were the situation at the end of the Romanian's player's turn, with the Russian giving 1 more turn, then the Russian can simply just charge one of these locations. We could take a 4-5-8 up here. Just get, this is where you probably want to go into close combat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you could just swamp one target, and then you could hopefully jump into close combat or something like that. If that were the case, I don't think that will ever be there. I think it's a low percentage chance that the Romanians can do that. Can he get there? Yeah, because you got to roll dice, right? You got to roll dice. M4 could be a GAC. You could roll doubles, the whole 9 yards. But when you move, you don't have to roll dice when you move, right? So that's the whole key, is putting yourself in a position where you don't have to roll any dice. You simply move to that location. Actually, knowing that the 347 can get there, this would probably be not a bad move. Assault move, advance phase to capture 1 more building. That way the 347 is going to be taking a point blank shot right in the face if he wants to try and capture M5. That would actually be a smarter move, to be honest with you. That, because you know the 447 has to fire. If the 447 chooses to fire, he can't move now, can he? And then the 347 would back up that firing move. Let's say he breaks for whatever reason. That's a 4+. That's a 6+4. It's a really crappy shot. The 347 survives this shot, survives that subsequent shot, and then moves into the building. This guy has to route. You know, that can happen too. And then this guy again can move over here. Very low probability. It can happen, not a problem. But then the 347's here, and they still haven't regained a building. So the 447 has to move. So therefore, the 447 will never be taking this shot on our 447. His unit, I'll just say that, his unit will never be taking a prep fire shot, because if he prep fires, he can't regain a building. And that's, you know, pretty much that's the only safe one. Can this guy go up through here and get this one? Yeah, theoretically, but he's gonna get blasted to hell. 8 -1, 8 -1. You know, you could. It's possible. I've seen worse, but realistically, you know, it's unlikely. So, and if he does this, let's see, he gets there, then guess what? We go 1, 2, 3, close combat, and 4 to 1. Then we take that building. So, I mean, unlikely. So down there, and over here. So we have again covering this section over here. We've got the Russian player prep fire. So let's say we go ahead and prep fire this unit here, because he's got nothing else to do. We don't want to fire the advanced fire phase to give him a shot. The CX will still apply. So we'll let John fire the shot, the 16+4 shot. First of all, which shot should we take? Do you guys have any idea? I mean, you could argue to fire at the 248. I mean, there's an argument to be had there. Or you could fire at this unit over here, because this is going to be an 8+2 or a 16+4. Pretty much the same sort of pretty much the same effect overall in terms of dice rolling needed. I would select the 468 simply because he's in the building, and he has much more potential firepower than a 248. So if we fire on that unit, 16 plus 4, 7. There's our average 7, gentlemen, right? What is that on that 16 chart? Let's get that bad boy. 7, 11. That's a pin task check. Is that good for us? Yeah, not bad. No effect. Movement phase comes. That's going to be gone. He fires back at us. 8 plus 3. There's your 8 plus 3 shot, right? Right, gentlemen? You don't take the shot, you can't get the shot. That's going to be a 7. 4, 5, 6, 7 on the 8 is a... Ooh, 1 morale check, right? 7 on the 8. Okay, they both pass. Good deal. They got lucky. But that's the shot. Remember, that's the shot that I was describing before. Had he taken that shot earlier and got a very similar results, I mean, even though we passed, right? That's an excellent result. I mean, he's been rolling pretty low anyway. But the dice pot's going crazy today, obviously. So, that's a really good shot. So if both those guys broke, it'd pretty much be game over. I mean, to be honest with you. So, that's my prep fire phase, and then my advance phase. I mean, do I advance there? Do I not? Because he's going to take another prep fire shot. You could argue one way or the other. I don't know. What do you guys think? So we prepped, and he defensive fired. Well, again, we're going to split each section up, acting like they're completely independent from one another. So he prepped. Advance fire comes. Nothing. Would you advance into EE5, knowing that he has one more turn left? Right? He has to break both these units so they can route out of the building. Would you advance into close combat with this unit now that your CX is gone? Remember, he's going to get the first shot on you again, and he just rolled a 4. Obviously, you might be scared about that. So, would you go into close combat? Would you send 1 unit? Would you send 2 units? Would you move over to EE8 to stop the 2-4 from getting closer? I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, guys? What would you guys do if this was your situation? If you were the Russian right here, how would you guys approach this situation? Would you just hunker down? Would you skulk one guy back in case one guy broke, and then you could advance him back in? But the problem is if this guy breaks, what happens? It's the same thing as him going out over here. He has to route first before this unit can advance back in, and therefore you lose control of the building. So, in my opinion, you shouldn't leave the building whatsoever, because you have 2 morale checks that you can secure the building with. Even though we got a 1 morale check on a shot, we had 2 chances to pass it. That's all that matters, is to keep someone good order in there. So what would you do, Keith? Would you just stay there?
Well, no, I would go into close combat. Now, I'm not saying that's the right answer.
Right.
Okay. But I tend to have an aggressive play style, and I would feel better about the situation taking the matter into my own hands than waiting to see what happened.
Would you send them both in there?
I would, only because it would give me 2-to-1 odds.
How much does that increase your chance of victory? Well, first of all, are you? What's our purpose in jumping into close combat? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. What is the purpose of jumping into close combat? Is it to deny him fire on our 458s, or is it to actually? Do we need to kill him to secure to keep that building?
So that's a great question, and this is what I don't know the answer to.
Okay.
Is I would take the initiative in this case and try to destroy that squad, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
Now, whether that's the right answer or not, I don't know.
Okay.
So being honest with you.
Yeah, sure. So again, risk versus reward. We could look at that based on the same sort of concept of Elkin here firing a 16 plus 4, 5 plus 5 shot, or actually turn to be a 12 plus 3 shot. We want to look at the same chart. So I've got my close combat chart out here. If you send both of them in there, what can happen? What do we roll first?
Ambush.
We roll for ambush. Is that a risk?
Yes.
How much of a risk is it? What's the chance of him ambushing us or us ambushing him?
Well, I'm not a math major, but 50%. Is that right?
I think it's about 25%.
25%.
Yeah, I think because you have to roll low and he has to roll high.
Right.
Or vice versa.
Okay.
You get vice versa. So let's say there's a 25% chance. So what that does is it gives him a 25% chance of getting a -1 to the attack. So he will most likely, I don't think he'll, well, at that point he might roll a 1 to 2. But that will give him, again, when we look back at it, we're looking at when he's in close combat with us. Let's say it doesn't matter, let's say we throw 1 unit in there. When he, again, we don't necessarily need to kill this unit. We just need to survive. If we send 1 unit in there, just to try to pin him down and hope to pin him down. That's what I do a lot in my close combats, and that's kind of what I tried to do at the beginning. Oh my god, pop up on the board. There you go, thank you. And it kind of bit me in the butt because that wasn't the necessarily strategy at the bottom part of the board that I needed to perform. Here you could excuse me, when you jump into close combat, let's say there's no ambush. Chances are there's not going to be an ambush, so it's going to be a 1-to-1. He's going to get a shot on you. So a 5 on his attack will K your unit. So a 5. I mean, you're obviously, what you do is you're walking up to him and you're saying, "Here, German unit, you know, I want to kill you, but here's an equal chance of killing me." I mean, even if you throw both of them in there, right? I have a 7 to reduce you. You have a 5 to reduce one of my units, right? Will he want to kill them both? Once you gauge close combat, that thing's going to the end. So we've got the Russian player turn. How many close combats do we have left? 3. Russian, Romanian, Russian. Okay, so we have 3 rolls, assuming nothing else happens. So he has 3 rolls to roll a 5 or less, or that's so. If you go, essentially, you don't want to go 2 guys in there. You obviously you do not want to go 2 guys in there, because if he rolls a 3. If he rolls a 3, you pretty much just lost the game. From 1 dice roll, you lost the game. If he rolls the 4, you lose a unit. Straight up, to lose a unit. If he rolls a 5, he'll have 2 to 1 next time, and you have a good chance of losing that second unit. Again, we're looking at the dice rolls that he needs to reduce our strength and firepower. So 5s are Ks. So let's look at the result of the infantry fire table. What does he need to roll to get a K with a 5? If he rolls
a 5 casualty reduces and a 4 kills the unit.
Right. So what firepower column would give us the exact same, quote, close combat value? What's the equivalent in the IFT chart for him rolling a 5 for a K and a 4 for a kill?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the 5 for a K, 4 for a kill?
Okay, because if we jump 1 guy in there, it'll be 1 to 1, right?
The 9. Yep.
And so he'll need a 5 for a casualty reduction, because if you're equal to the K, or if you're equal to the close combat value, you're going to casualty reduce him. That's not even including the potential for the 25% chance that he'll ambush us. So we're going to throw out the door. We're going to give it, just an average case. A 5 for casualty reduction and a 4 is essentially a KIA, right?
That would be a 24.
Right.
It looks like.
So you've just given that 468 a 24 firepower column on us. Let's go the other direction. Let's say we throw both of them in there. Keep that 24 chart in your mind, gentlemen. Let's say we throw both of them in there. Now, what are his odds? What's the K value there? That's a 4. So what's that? What firepower column would that be? A 4 for a casualty reduction, a 3 for a double kill.
A 20.
A 20 chart. Straight up kill. Okay. Reverse it, bounce it back. Remember, you don't necessarily need to be aggressive at all points of the aggression is going to come on the hill. That's where your aggression is going to come from, Keith. But on this side,
so I think the question, Stu, I apologize for interrupting.
Not at all.
And as a new player, this is the challenge that I'm facing, is that one mode does not satisfy each part of the battlefield.
Correct.
Each situation needs to hold its own merits by what's taking place, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm having a very hard time understanding the ebb and the flow of the game.
Okay.
And also what situation pertains to that particular encounter, right?
Right.
I have a tendency to go full one way or full the other,
Right.
And it creates an exciting situation, but it's really chaotic and doesn't make much sense.
If
So
if
how do
right.
you slow yourself down to
you
be able to
take
make these
the easiest way
decisions?
to do that, easiest way to slow yourself down, the easiest way. What's the easy, John? What's the easiest way to slow? What's the one thing you should know in this scenario, John? You can pipe in this in. The one thing you should read every single turn, or anybody else. What's the
Is
one
that
thing
the
you should need to
victory
know?
condition?
The victory conditions is the driving force of all of your decisions. The victory conditions is do we need any Russian units to be alive at the end of the game? Is that a requirement for us to can we satisfy our victory conditions if we had 0 units on the board?
I mean, in theory, yes. I mean, as long as you've taken the buildings before you die, and he doesn't get a chance to take them back.
Right. Right.
You know?
Let's say we move into let's say we move into this final location here, right? So he's got like 1,000 units over here, right? Let me just clone this guy and clone him again.
While you're cloning, I will give you a quick mathematical update. Your chance of ambush is 1 in 6 with a straight up roll. That is 1 in 6 of you ambushing your opponent, 1 in 6 of your opponent ambushing you, and then 4 in 6 nothing happens.
Okay, so 33% chance of
an
ambush happening. So 1 in 6. You know, again, that's why we kind of threw it easy. It's not going to happen all that often, but yeah, 25. Yeah, that's right, because it's 25, 50, 50, 25. Okay, so let's do this situation here. Right. Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
And but chances we don't want to go. That's why I said it's about this. And do you want to give him about that? Nah, not me. So this is remember, right? Again, another thing you need to look at is over on the right hand side. Do the Romanians get a second turn? Oop, my head's in the way.
No.
Who moves last in this scenario? Anyone? Who's moving last in our scenario?
Whoever the attacker is.
Whoever moves. Whoever had moved first, which happens to be the Russian.
Yep.
Right? If and this makes a decision, this makes a difference in how you also approach the end game. If the Romanians have another turn, does the bottom situation change? Does the bottom scenario change if the Romanians had another turn to move? That's a hint. If the Romanians had 2 movement phases down here instead of 1, does that change the way this is going to roll out on the bottom? The answer is yes. Because he could then assault move, advance phase, and next turn he'd go 2, 4, 6 to get that building. It gives him more options. The SQL guy can come down here. He could do something else a little slower, but now he only has 1 movement phase. He has 1 option, and that's to bust ass to M3 or try to jump into close combat over here, which we know is most likely going to just end up in melee, which means we control the building, right? So 2 movement phases gives him a lot more options to conduct. The same thing happens in this hypothetical situation up here, which can occur. Russians move last. Let's say it's the end of the turn. The Germans have control of that building. The Germans have that. My guys are over here. I say, well, the easiest way. Let's say I have 1 guy. Let's just put 1 guy because we're just gonna put 1 guy. Damn it. We move 1. Let's say 2, 3. Okay. He blasts us, and we die. Do we control the building and therefore add that to our victory condition purposes? Do we control that building when I enter it, and then he KIAs us? Straight up KIAs. Let's see, he's got some sort of bullshit like this going on. That's the only spot we can move for whatever reason, because I don't like the DD row. I think E is my favorite letter, so I go to ED row.
Well, control reverts, I believe, at the moment that it happened.
Correct.
So the moment you enter the building, you control it, provided there's no other enemy units there in the building.
So we move in there. We instantly control it. Oh my god, I'm not selecting it. We instantly control it, and then we instantly die after he shoots at us. He doesn't get to move. That's a victory location that we just achieved. Did we lose a unit for that? Yes, but he controlled the building for us. So that's what we're looking at here. And again, him, and we'll just... Wow, this thing is just really getting wonky today. Oh my god, I don't want to clone. Delete. I just said delete, control D, thank you very much. So, okay, you don't want to move? No, you don't want to move. There we go. So, we have this situation here. If we give him, essentially, if we give him 20 or 24 charts to fire at us, he's going to take them. But if he fires back, and again, think of it this way. We're giving up a 16+3 chart on him. You know, we might kill him earlier, but for all intents and purposes, this guy can jump in there, and 12 of his other buddies can jump in there and stack him that. Well, you know, there's no ever stacking, but he can maximize squads in that hex. We don't care. We don't care. He can have a 10-3 leader, triple HMGs, you know, 838 squads. Doesn't matter. If he just moves in there the last turn, assuming he doesn't, you know, kill us in advanced fire, we still control the building. Even if he like shreds these guys and a half squad's left that passes the K check, this guy gets eliminated. This guy gets reduced down to a half squad, but he doesn't have to route. We still control the building. Doesn't matter how many guys he's got in there. So we don't need to necessarily aggress in that particular instance, because are we giving him an advantage in jumping into close combat, in destroying us? All we need to do is keep bodies in the building. His chance.
So would you?
Go ahead.
Sorry, Stu. So would you look at close combat in general in that way? Of it seems much more risky than just standing there slugging it out with them with infantry fire table rolls.
It's 100% more risky. Do you see the units on the right-hand side? All the dead
Yep.
units?
Yep.
I think 3 of those units died in close combat. The rest of them were K results for just simply low rolls. I lost 3 squads in close combat. Were all those avoidable? Yes. Simply because if I move here, if I simply move there, and he fires an 8-1 on me, what's the chance of him actually reducing or killing this unit? Look in the 8-1 chart. All right. If he rolls a 4, that'll be a K. All right.
Yep.
K2. If he rolls a 3, I'll die. Okay. That's a weaker shot that you're giving him than the one that you're jumping into close combat. If you jump into close combat, you are giving him, who he has to be on the attack now, a better chance of killing you than is if you were just to stay right here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot more room in the building, and there's no upper levels and so on and so forth. But you are better off sitting right there and just plugging 16 firepower right in his face. He has no choice but to fire on you. You have no choice but to take the +3. Because if you break and you have to route from the building, you're going to lose the building. But your chances of breaking on his average roll of 7 on the 8 chart is nil. Nil. If the average roll is 7, which is kind of how you analyze most situations, you take the average dice roll, what's most likely going to occur is a 7, he will miss us every single turn the rest of the game by 1. He has to roll a 6 for a pin task check. Do we care about a pin task check? Nah, we're 8 morale. Do we care about a normal morale check? Not as much. It could break us, yeah. We have an 8 morale. If you roll 8, it pins us. Well, actually, yeah, we roll 8, it pins us. Roll 7, we're fine. 1 morale checks. If he rolls a 3 or 4, he gets a 1 morale check on us, right? In close combat, a 3 or 4 will kill. A 3 will kill both units, and a 4 will kill 1 unit. Well, if he goes 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, you know, that sort of thing. 1 morale checks. Do we really care about 1 morale checks with 8 morale units? They need 7s to pin. They're still pretty damn safe, right? They're pretty safe from his attack. If he rolls a snake eyes, you know, his 3 is his best roll for not jumping off the truck. So if he rolls a 3, he's going to add 3 to make it a 6. If he rolls a snake eyes, he's obviously going to do what?
Cower.
He's going to cower. Every time you see doubles, you think cower. I don't care if he eliminates all your unit. You want that final fire on him, and we can go over that later. Snake eyes, add 3. Guess what? 1 morale check. the worst he's going to get on those units in any scenario, the 248 is irrelevant because his firepower has no meaning to the attack. None. It's going to be a 10 plus 3 or an 8 plus 3. The 248 doesn't exist for firepower purposes. He only exists in independent fire 2 plus 3, which you could just laugh off any day of the week. You don't give a crap about that shot. So one morale check's the worst thing you're going to look at. I don't care. That's what you need to look at. If your roll's a 3, what's the worst thing that can happen to me? And guess what? You have 2 chances to roll 7. Let's roll 7. There we go. One guy broke, the other guy's fine. He has to roll. That's assuming he got a 1 morale check. The other guy's got to leave. Guess what? Next turn, I'm 8 plus 3 right back at him. Now it's even, right? Now it's even odds. You know, it's who breaks whom first. No, I roll my low roll, and essentially, like I said before, once that guy breaks, then it becomes the bullshit dice fest that we had down here. We have the first one that rolls a 2 or 3 wins. You know, because you got to roll. We're both 8 morale. We both have the same chance. In this case, once this guy breaks, we both have the exact same chance of breaking the other guy. Exact same chance. You know, so 8 plus 3, 8 plus 3, back and forth until, you know, for 2 fire phases or 2 turns, you know, he's going to prep fire in his turn. I'm gonna defensive fire in that same turn. Then I'm gonna prep fire my turn, and he's gonna defensive fire in his turn, and that's it. That's the end of the game. So you have to sweat. And with you having 2 units there, right? You can afford. You have the advantage. Let's say for whatever reason, this guy's, you know, in certain situations, you have 2 units. You'll have more firepower, so you don't need to really aggress on him. You have 16 up 3 right in his face. That's enough to eventually break him in 3 or 4 shots, right? If it doesn't, you're just rolling poorly, but you know, that's just the way the ball bounces. And next is when he fires on you, you have 2 chances to pass the morale check. He has 1 chance. So you have the advantage all day long in this situation. And why do you have the advantage? Is because he left the building when you were in it. If he had control of the building, now here's how it changes, and this is what we covered last time, remember, Keith? Here's how it changes. Oh my God, I did not select those. The German has that control. I still did not select those. Right? And we enter the building. Now, how does that change the situation, Keith?
You have to eliminate the German.
Now you have to break him. At least break him. Now you have to punch him in the face or eliminate him. I honestly would still go, at that point, I would take all the shots. I would take all the 16 firepower shots you can get. And in the last turn, after you prep fire on him, let's say it doesn't break him, what do you do then?
Advance in for close combat.
You get a free attack.
See, I think what really puts things in perspective is when you start to take the close combat result to casualty reduce or eliminate that unit and put it on the infantry fire table.
Yeah.
And when you put it on that 24 column, you know, it really puts it into perspective of how dangerous a move that is.
Right. It triples his firepower. For all intents and purposes, it triples his firepower.
Yep.
Now, do you restrict his fire outside of that hex? Right? Anybody?
I'm sorry.
If you jump into close combat, if that was your move, do you restrict his fire outside the hex?
Sure.
Right. Yeah. So if you needed to do that to bring other units into that same situation, let's say he had, well, I don't even want to change the situation because the situation will show up. Let's say you needed to restrict this guy's fire and you have more troops coming up, but you don't want him to take a 4-2 on those guys to blast them. You know, especially if you have a strong leader coming in. So you had reinforcements coming. You might want to do this because if you lose that unit, if by him doing this allows those other units to get into a safe position, whether it's attacking this building or coming over here to securing these, right? If I had Elkin right here, right, I'm scared shitless, and I'm not in there. This right. I moved up here last turn, and next turn I want to plan to move down this way. This guy's back here. You know, I need to go this direction. You might want to jump him in close combat to pin him down, so Elkin can make this move safely. You might want to sacrifice this unit, even the casualty reduction. I'll take the 5. You just want the melee to happen so he can move freely to that location. That's where you need to look at it. What do I need to do this turn? And therefore, you need to look at not just one unit, but what your purpose is on that particular side of the map. Can this guy over here influence something over here? You could probably say no. I could argue that he might have very strong influence over there, you know, depending on exactly how the flow of the game is going. And actually, we're going to show you an example very soon about what the influence this Camkin has on the game. Does this guy have any influence? Can this guy kill anybody? Can this guy right here kill anybody? That's a trick question.
No, in close combat, I suppose he could, but no, not otherwise.
I will show you how he can kill someone.
Can I ask you a question, Stu?
You can also kill. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just had a question in general about the flow of the game and how it works, and I apologize, guys, for asking this. But
no, this is why we're Keith. This is why we're here, my man. This is why we're here.
You know what I'm finding when I'm playing other people is that I feel pressure to make decisions quickly. I don't have the knowledge base to be able to consider each of these, you know, one-offs as to what I'm doing. I'm having a hard time conceptualizing all the different parts of the game. Can you talk through just briefly, non-geological time, you know, how you approach that and what you consider when you're looking at this? What are, if you had a priority, you mentioned the victory conditions, you know, is something that you review constantly to make sure you're grounded on, you know, what those are.
Right.
But what's the way that, you know, as you're approaching this game, you consider these different types of moves, so that you know, I consider it a ballet, right? But it changes based off of each turn in what happens. How do you process that all? You know, and are there key steps that you take to do that?
Yes. Let me go back to, so right now we have three situations, right? Would you agree? Situation one, situation on the hill, situation on the bottom. Your thoughts. What you do is when I had Bogroff, right? When I was talking in the beginning of the game, what I do when I play ASL, I set. Now these 458s are an example. The 7-0 is an example, and the 9-2 is an example. I'm going to use those three key units as examples of what I need to do. The 628s as well, right? And the 447. All of this comes into play. So when you look, and again, that's why we analyze our OB. This is what we looked at the beginning. We realize what the weakest, just to real quickly refresh. The weakest unit in the OB is what, Keith, for the Russians?
Oh, the half squad probably.
Which one?
I don't know. I didn't see the OB.
No. Look at this is my OB right here. It's right on the screen. What's the weakest unit? What's your weakest link in this game? Remember, okay, let me ask that question, and then I'll ask a subsequent question real quick. What's the weakest link? Your opinion. It's not wrong. It's just your opinion.
Sure. I apologize, Stu. I don't understand. You know
what's the okay? Let me ask. What's the strongest unit in your OB?
Probably the 9-2 leader.
9-2 leader. Okay, using that same basis of qualifying what's strong and what's weak. What's your weakest unit in your OB?
The 7-0 leader. 248 half squad.
Okay. That's your answer. That's good. You're qualifying it by what is your basis of qualifying those as weak? Let me ask you that.
Just the overall, I don't know, strength of the unit compared to the other Russian units.
Okay, so there you go. You're looking for firepower and ability to conduct combat, correct?
Better said than I did.
Right. Okay. You're the 248. A lot of guys would probably agree with you. The 248 is probably a weak unit. I would argue the 248 is probably the third strongest unit in the game. And I'm gonna go into why in this game, the 248, and based upon what my opponent does in selecting his fire attacks. That's not a simple question, but we agree that the 9-2, extremely strong unit. It is the linchpin of the Russian attack, correct?
Yes.
What do we need? What must the Russians get in the game? We must get building control. Down here, would you assign the 9-2 to completely bitch slap the Romanians out of this village here, and spend 1 or 2 turns down here bitch slapping the Romanians, and then going on to your other objectives? Would you assign that to your 9-2?
Probably not.
Okay, some players would, right? Some players could bring the 9-2 down here and on his way up just obliterate the guys. That's viable, but you must have a mission, and this is where I get into this is where we're going here. When you have your OB and you have certain areas that you need to attack, again, understanding what the victory conditions need you to do to win the game. You don't need deaths. You just need control. So, open ground, right? I'm covering open ground over here. We got shots from the right-hand side from the X6 building because he's going to get there before we can get there. So these units here are going to be crossing open ground, right? We saw what happened to that 447 that tried to move over there, right? What happened to him? KAA. Rolls a 3. Zap that son of a bitch. He's gone, right? Hopefully these guys won't take the KA. Guess what I did? Assault moved, and I think I moved up here, and then I advanced phase into that fire lane. I'm not getting the -2, and guess what? As soon as I move up with a normal movement phase, I'm catching the hindrance. So I'm not going to be taking that -2 shot. If I am taking a -2 shot, I still have, guess what? The 8 morale. The 8 morale gets me across the open ground. Remember, you had the 2 for 8 over here. Firing pot shots on my guys, no effect. They make it to this location here. I think he's some sort of situation like that. So I assigned the 458s and possibly the other 447, but he got eliminated, right? Elkin was here. Elkin's supporting this shot over here, so these guys can't get stupid and go up here and take that out, right? Elkin is stopping that from happening. If Elkin were over here, he could, and these guys were in the open over here, these guys could have easily moved up there. Now I've got no shot on this guy. That's a safe move for him. And guess what? I'm stuck out in the open. That's going to be a 4. That's going to be a 6 even shot. Or if I start moving, he could first fire, subsequent first fire, and fire 4 different times because he's got 2 units. First fire, subsequent fire. We don't want him to get there. So I assign tasks to the units. These 2 units here, maybe even 3 because I had that 1 unit go over there. Their task was to keep these guys busy. So A, they simply don't abandon this and come up on the hill and cause me problems at this point in the game. At this point in the game, if these guys just stood right here, I'm selecting them. Why can't they move? That's weird. Okay, this is weird. So if I had these guys here, he could still possibly do the end around because he's got some orchards, right? I don't want him up here. I sent these guys. He gave me an opening that allowed me to enter the building. Say, hell, if I'm going to take the building, I'm going to take the building. Dual purpose: secure the building or stop these guys from getting over here. If one of them broke, right? If he broke there, am I going to secure the building with 1 unit when he's got these 2 guys there? Anybody?
Almost surely not.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder in the time constraints, right? At that point, we might need Elkin to fire some supporting shot over here. If this guy breaks, then we could take it. If he doesn't break, guess what? We've got the opposites. We've got the Keith situation where the German can now just go on the offensive and jump him, and now he has an advantage to close combat. See how that changes? By 1 unit breaking, that changes the entire complexion on that one side. Since they didn't break, matter of fact, he final fired, which really opened the floodgates. Then I took advantage of that and got into position. So, if these units are over here, let's say he moved over here 1 turn. These guys are up here. If I'm going to start moving these guys forward, how many shots is he going to have? He's going to have Koenig. He's going to have both these idiots. All these guys up on the hill are going to be vulnerable to these 4-2, 2-2, 2-1 shots. Right? That's what I'm thinking about. I don't want these guys over here, because that's where they should have been first, in my opinion. That's where they should have been in the first place, based on the victory conditions. They need to be over here. Since they're over here, I'm going to keep them there. And to keep them there, I need strong morale units to get into a position and to stay there. So when this guy does fire on me, I can withstand his attack. 447s?
Right. Yeah. I would also argue that you not only need the high morale, but you also need the range, which is why you send the 458 there. Because again, their other mission is to keep those 2 German units pinned down in that building. If they can't get in, they can at least try to keep them pinned there. So those 2 squads don't run to the hill.
Right.
And so at that point, then the longer range of the 458 can be helpful. It makes the Germans' job trying to get to the hill, like by trying to move to like DD6, CC9, whatever, try to go around the long way, so they can't get there. Right. So the 458 controls more of the terrain. If there's only like 1 unit left, if one breaks, then you can maybe park yourself in the building, in the wooden building, and just try to control them from getting across.
Right. Remember my shot down here? I actually had a shot from these units. This was exactly the same situation. I fired on his 248. My opponent said, "Oh, you got 4 firepower." It's like, no, these are the good boys. These are the badasses. They have 5 range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I outranged this guy. This guy can now, the 248 and GG7, now cannot stand toe to toe with these guys. That's an 8 + 1 versus a 1 even. He loses that every single time. I simply assault move, and then advance phase up, and he takes his little 1 shot, and then I get to my position where, oh my god, where I was before. And yeah, the 7 morale unit, again, 1 guy died earlier, but, sorry, I'm going to geologic time. I assign a role. I have units. As soon as I came on, right, this 248, where was he? He was right here. His role, come on, his entire purpose is to first fire these guys. That's it. Do I care if he breaks? Don't give a shit. I want a first fire marker on that guy, and I want a first fire marker on this guy. If he makes it, I move. He continues to. If he doesn't subsequent fire, I continue to move. What happened? I think he fired again on me right here. I continue to move. What happened? I continue to move. He broke right here. What did that do? This guy can't fire anymore. He has a unit adjacent to him. Am I safe right there? Yeah, because all my other guys are going to come on with a different purpose. I had a shitload of other units, and you could look at the log, or you could look at the replay. They all came on. I knew I'm going to have 16 squads in this area. There's no way in hell this unit's going to pass 16 morale checks. I don't care if I'm firing 2+2, 4+2. I'm going to get 6 rolls in this guy. I'm eventually going to get a morale check, a 1 morale check or a normal morale check, and eventually he will break. And guess what? They both broke. Could he have passed them both? Yeah. Guess what? My 8 morale unit, at that point, what do? Low crawl. He's still alive. He served his purpose because everybody else got on the board. His purpose is to draw fire so everybody else can move safely. That's his purpose, and that's what he did. Revisit those files and see exactly what I was doing, and even our discussions, we cover that intensely. The same thing down here. Bogroff. Again, I admitted that I probably made a mistake with this unit, but it's my mistake. It was my plan. My plan was to use Bogroff and his MMG to essentially cover this little road, albeit I'm going to get a hindrance in J8, right? Does everyone understand that I'm going to get a hindrance shot from J8? It's okay if you don't see that. That's why we're here. If you don't understand that I'm getting a hindrance from J8, we need to revisit that, okay? So if you want to do it later, that's fine, but I'll continue. My entire purpose is the MMG fire down this lane because he had his MMG here to stop this guy. He had a 9-1, an 8-1, a medium in this building to getting across and backing safely to his destination. Because the rest of my guys are coming over here. He's not going over here. I want to cut off his retreat path. Is it a perfect, great shot? Is it a 16-1? Nah. Does it need to be? No. All I really need to do is pin his ass in the street. That's all I really need to do is pin him. Then all my guys jump in the buildings. Guess what happens? He's looking at a 6+3, 6+2 shot. Do I care? I have 8 morale. Even if I have 7 morale, I'm going to have all my units up here. They break, I've got 4 leaders, They're not going to stay broken for long. And I blast them to the open ground. Advanced fire. Okay. Purpose. My purpose. Set a purpose for him. This MMG can't be everywhere. So you have to set a role for him. It doesn't have to be the perfect role. There might be a perfect position. We discussed I should have moved it to H3 so he could cover the entire hill. Guess what? Now the German's off the hill. I don't need him here anymore. He doesn't serve a purpose. You know? But my purpose initially was to cover this road. I executed that plan perfectly. Did it give me anything? No. No. I don't even remember firing that damn weapon, to be honest with you. But my plan was to cover this road in case he wanted to move. I wanted to curtail my enemy's movement with this MMG. This MMG was not to break stacks and stacks of units. It's to curtail movement. I certainly don't want to put it with the 9-2. Because my plan for the 9-2 is to ignore the village of peasants down here, right? And instead, who are we facing? Are we facing Romanians up here?
Nope.
No, we're facing the badasses. 4.68s are badasses. 2 smoke, 8 morale, 6 range. They're arguably better than every single unit that I have. Arguably better. I mean, I would say they're better than every single unit that I have. You know, they outrange all my units. They have the same morale as my best units. They have smoke. Number 1, they have smoke. If I had smoke, the scenario's over. The scenario's over. I have 2 smoke, the scenario's gone. Done. Bonzo. They have smoke. Don't have smoke. I gotta be taking shots. But I have a 9-2. 9-2, I brought him up here, is to secure a fire base, like Pete was saying last time. I broke this unit, my first shot, popped that guy, boom, broke him. I told him that I'm here to play. 9-2 is here to play. You want to occupy the location, you're gonna pay. That's a 12+1 shot. You know, you're gonna be taking 1 morale checks all game. Can you roll 7s? You can be pinned. If you're pinned, guess what? I'm charging units at your face, because guess what? I've got a lot of units. I could charge a lot of units when I pin you. You get, the first shot's going to be at half firepower. Subsequent first fire, it's going to be what? Quartered. I don't care. 1-2. I'll take that. I got 8 morale units to back that shit up. You know? Purpose. Purpose over here. Delay these units. These guys' purpose is not to come over here. I've got other units to do that. I've got 6-8s. Purpose, delay these units or take the building. Or both. In this case, both. Right? MMG. Purpose. Only purpose. Stop idiots from getting across this road. That's his only purpose. It's too heavy to get up here in 6 turns. I've got 15 other squads. Each one of these squads is 4 firepower. Does it have 10 range? Do you need it? No. Everything's going to be close range up here. You don't need an MMG up here. I do need an MMG to cover this road. I would have loved the MMG to be right here. That's sweetness right there. That's all there is to it. Because now I got full firepower the entire way. Instead, I've got 4 firepower most of the way, right? Is it perfect? No. Serves the same purpose. His purpose is exactly the same as his purpose. And that's what his role was. When I'm thinking, when I'm setting up, I said, I need a guy here because he's got 2 units down here that might need to run back. I need to get to K7 as soon as possible. And I like to think that I got there on turn 2. I don't know. I don't recall. But I got in that building. His entire purpose is not to cross and get this. His entire purpose of the game to the last turn, once he enters this building, is to stop units from crossing the road, just like the MMG. His entire purpose is to slow and stop enemy movement. If he's not there, what happens? Free movement. That's an easy choice. If he's here, what do? Do I assault move then? I slow his movement down, even if he gets across. I slow his movement down. It's a success. You know? So, he was purposed. I gave him a purpose in the OB. I gave him a purpose in the OB. I gave him a purpose and him a purpose. So, immediately, I have 4 different units, 4 different types of units, doing 4 different things in the game. Your job is to go pick up the cookies at the grocery store. Your job is to go get the milk. It's like your kids. You have like your 5 kids. Johnny, you go get the milk. Chrissy, you get the eggs. You know, boom. You assign everyone a task. They go get the task done. If they don't have the task done, then someone else has got to fill in for them. You have to have that backup fill in. If you don't have the fill in, then you'll fail. If there's no fill-in for these 458s, if I didn't have that 447 that took a shot over here, I didn't have a fill-in for these guys. If they broke and didn't make it to the back of the milk, you know, we're not getting milk today. There's no backup. We're not getting milk. So 628s. Purpose of the 628s obviously is what, gentlemen?
Punch people in the nose.
How far do you need to be?
Whoa. Oh,
Someone's getting a haircut.
Yeah.
How far do you need to be?
You need to be close.
You need to be up in his grill.
Yep.
Up in his grill. That's what these guys' purpose. These guys, don't need them down here. I'm going to be 2 hexes away. Don't need that. That 447s, 458s, that's their job. 628s, they get in your face. 628 adjacent shot right here. Again, we covered this before. That's 12. That's That's 16 firepower. This unit does the same job as these two guys over here, but there's only one of them. These guys get up in your grill and they do damage. Right, 447s. That's 8 firepower. It's half. I need 2 of these guys to get up there and do the same thing that one guy does. Okay. Big difference. That's the purpose of the 628s. I need the 628s to move up there. Again, 7-0. You say the 7-0s are weakest. Leaders, especially in this scenario, what do we have to do, gentlemen? We have to get back to these buildings, right? Are you getting feedback, Keith, or what?
Oh, it's my dryer went off. Sorry.
Okay, all right. So, so we got 7-0. What's he going to do if we need to get back here by turn 4? What's the leader going to provide? Mobility.
A lot of move.
He's going to provide mobility.
Oh.
Therefore, his value is far exceeds almost anybody else there. We need units there. If they can't get there, doesn't matter. If we can't get there soon, can we CX units? Yes. What do we lose when we CX them? We lose interdiction. We are firing at a worse chart, right? And we're screwed in close combat, which we don't want to get in. Correct? 3 things happen. At least 3 things happen when you CX. Also, when you're CX'd, you can't advance up into a stone building. If this unit were CX'd here, he cannot advance into that building. That's all of his movement factors. He can't do that. If he can only move over here or over here. It limits his movement capabilities in the advance phase. CX is something that you really don't want to do if you're going to be firing on dudes. Unless you can get a bunch of those guys adjacent to blast them. Not something you want to do all the time. But if you need to move, you need to get your ass from point A to point B as fast as possible and as safe as possible. CXing is the way to go if you don't have enough leaders. And typically, the Russians do not have enough leaders. Luckily, in this game, shit, I think they had like, what, 3, 4? They had 4. Ridiculous.
Yeah, you got 4.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I was surprised to see 4. But that's to get these units back there fast. Garen's what was Garen's job? Usually the 7-0s, 8-0s are in the back, picking up the slack. Guys break, they rush over them. They're like a medic. They run over there, get them rallied, get them rallied, get them rallied. We come over here, support these units over here if they need to. You know, this guy, again, I made errors. This guy, I kind of wasted him. He was down here to help rally units. Did he rally anybody? Not a damn soul. Not a damn soul. This guy over here, he broke turn 1. He's been out of the game, the whole game. I should have come over here, take the chance, get that guy up and going. Another body on the field. Even a conscript. Another body on the field means he's gonna shoot at him instead of this guy when he moves. You got to get the body moving. I failed with Balgroth. That was a failure. The bottom part of the map was a failure for me. I failed. I did certain things, but I could have done a lot better. A lot better. That's just my opinion on my own game. You guys might say, "Hey, you did really well down there, Stu. You contained them all." Yeah, but I could have done it better. And that's what we're here for. We want to try and do things a little bit better. And so I think what you have, Keith, is you're on the attack, so you think everyone has to attack. Everyone's got highest firepower. I got to get up there. I got to break all the units. Yes, I mean, if you're on the attack, typically that's the idea. But could you do certain things, like in this situation right now? again, I'm going to go over roles. I have roles for each one of this guy's on the hill right now, and this isn't stagnant. Like, let's say again, these guys' roles were to take this building, to delay these guys getting over there. Let's say these guys did something stupid and ran out here and just they did some crazy ass shit. They ran out here and I blasted them and they're both dead. Does their role change? Does their role change?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's it change, Keith?
But you don't have to. I'm just guessing here that you can secure the building, but then you can use them to do other things against the Germans in the middle of the board.
Right. How many units does it take to secure that building?
One.
Where's the other guy going?
To the middle of the board.
Right. This guy runs up here. Boom. This guy could come over here. Where else could he go?
Go down south or to the bottom side of the board with the Romanians if you needed them to. Or around the back side of the Germans.
Right. He can continue to mission 1, because guess what? As soon as those guys die, you give them a new mission. Mission 1 is to secure, come around the back. Why the hell would we want to be back here? Even up here.
Cutting off route routes.
Cutting off route paths. And you're going to see exactly that. This is my plan. So because now his role changed because the game changes. These guys die, easy, continue. Right? They don't sit there the whole game. They continue on. Guess what? Gives them another target. Route path restriction, etc., etc. We will see that right now. I will tell you my plan. I have 2 plans for these units. We're going to the attack now, gentlemen. I have 2 plans for these units. I can either attack or I can move, or a combination of both. And you have to think about what you need to do. If you fire, and this is all based upon your results, if you fire all these, if I've got all these units ready, this is the situation. This is rally phase has gone by. We rallied our unit, right? We're going to assume this situation is secured. I want to get rid of that ugly German control marker. Dirty German control marker. Put that fine Russian star there. Okay. Secured down here. We secured this down here. That was the objective. We went over that. Went over this. Is this 100% secure? No. No. But that's what has to happen. This has to play out by itself the rest of the game, unless something drastic happens on the top over here. So, my plan is to attack with Elkin first. You say, Stu, if you attack with Elkin, you can't move him to a better position to kill other units. You're correct. That's the problem with prep firing. We prep fire Elkin. Why do we prep fire Elkin versus this unit over here? Is it the same shot? This unit has 14 firepower, or even more if you fire both these units together. Who would you want to fire first on this König? Expand those stacks, please, gentlemen. If you haven't expanded them already, expand all those stacks so you can see exactly what's going on, because you need to know what's under those guys. Firing Elkin first does what for us? We're going to fire on this SOB right here in W6.
It certainly gives you the largest chance to break the units in W6.
Correct.
Due to the -2 modifier.
Correct. That shot's going to be a what?
12. It's like a 12 up 1.
Correct. Is that a great shot?
It's not necessarily the best shot, but it's the best shot you're probably going to get this turn.
Right. If that's 12 up 1, the 628s and the 447, let's say if we combine those, because we're not going to add this guy. If you have a CX unit and he's got 4 firepower, never add him to the firepower attack. There is no purpose. Unless you're on the 1 chart. Unless you're firing like a 1 firepower unit. Never firepower this guy with him. And even then, you probably don't want to do it. Why is that? If I have an 8 chart, let's say if I fire an 8 chart and I add this guy to it.
Right.
Does it do anything to the attack? But it increases it to 12, right? But what else does it do?
Adds 1.
Adds 1. It counters itself. It counters itself. You look how the charts progress, everything goes up by 1. If I add 4 firepower, it goes up by 1. I'm not. The only thing I'm doing is losing his ability to move. He does nothing. Essentially, I've just taken that unit and said, you do nothing this turn. No need to fire this unit. Ever. Well, very, 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 very low situations where you want to do that. And I won't even say ASL, but in SK, you probably don't want to do that. Most of them are going to be stagnant defensive positions. You want to move him. You want to move him. I don't care if you move him and he breaks. You want to move him, right? First of all, if he breaks, well, even if you CX him and he breaks, he loses the CX, so you get like a free CX. So that's not an option. These guys are off the boards. This is the only other fire attack. So essentially, we're gonna on an average roll, we'll get into one morale check on these guys. Is that a great shot? No, they got to roll 7s for a pin. Is a pin good? On Koenig.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to advance the 628s in his face, it certainly is a help.
Right. So if Koenig pins, how does that change the situation? Just Koenig.
Oh.
We're gonna pick it apart because this is what you got to look at. So okay, if I don't even have pins up there.
All right. So if the 628s move into W5 instead of a 12 minus 1, it's a 12 minus instead of a 12 minus 2, it's 12 minus 1.
Right. And what else does it do for us? What happens? What do you lose when you lose the leader? You lose his modifier, right?
Well,
and you also lose his leadership direction.
Yeah.
So this unit can then do what?
It can cower.
It can cower. If I advance, assault move this guy up here, and let's say he just fires the LMG, because he's going to have a lot of targets he's got to deal with. Let's just say he fires the LMG. He rolls shit. He rolls snake eyes. Who gives a crap? Snake eyes. Yeah. Right? Vaporizes the guy, right? Gone. Okay. Don't get pissed that he rolled snake eyes. You're happy. Why?
Final fire.
Fired him.
Because he just screwed himself. Now his 4 firepower, he's half fire, he just lost the 4 firepower. And guess what? If you were to attack him, let's say you get this unit up here later, and just the leader pinned. Well, let's say just one unit pinned, just the leader, and you fire on this guy, you get a morale check on him. Guess what? No -1. He's pinned. He doesn't get to add his morale. He doesn't get to add his leadership bonus when he's pinned to that unit. He's more vulnerable simply by having this leader pinned. It's just a little stupid pin result. So it does more than just not, just take away from the war. Plus, another thing you can think about is when he cowers, because the leader can stop him from cowering, what does he lose? He loses firepower, right? No leader, you have a potential to lose. You have a 1 in 6 chance to lose. Well, technically, it's not 1 in 6 because you don't care if he rolls a 10 or 11 or 10 or 12 because those are no effect anyway. So he's got 4 chances that he's going to cower and not have an effect upon us.
I'd celebrate if he rolled a 10.
Yeah, because he final fires. Those are the bonuses. But in terms of
and you've got to wait in your face. Sure,
in terms of strict results, he's not going to get a result on that. But the result will be is that he's final fired, which is a great result. That's what you're looking for. So pinning the leader is extremely helpful. Extremely helpful. And you guys experienced this before. You get your 9-2, you got running in the open, and you get shot at, leader gets pinned, guess what? No -2 for everybody else, and guess what? The whole stack just blows up. You'll see that a billion. If you haven't seen it yet, it's coming. It's coming.
Actually, that really is a very good point about losing the leadership capabilities. I actually had never really thought about the cowering possibilities of having the leader being pinned.
Right.
And that actually is pretty helpful. So
even the stinking 8-0. Let's say Koenig was there. Let's say Kroger was there. Same situation. This guy pins. Right. We have that same benefit. We just don't get the -1, but we do have the cowering that comes into play now. The cowering comes into play. Okay. Pins. Oh, you don't want pins. I don't care. You don't want pins in any part of your game, especially if you guys got close, because they're going to jump in close combat. So anyway, my game plan here. I prep fire this unit. My ultimate plan, let's say this guy breaks. Can he route back? He breaks here, boom, boom, right? He breaks there, I fire this guy, and this guy over here. Let's say I had to fire both of them, worst case scenario. Let's say he makes some morale checks on the next one, and these guys fire everything they got. Remember, I have 2 turns, not 1 turn, 2 turns to take one of those buildings. If shit goes south on the left-hand side, then I need to take both of them. Situation will change, Keith. The situation will change later. I need to make sure that I don't get burnt for that. We do have a 458 that you rally down here. He is obviously, since this is secured on the bottom, most likely he's going to CX his ass to get in a position for next turn's movement. Okay? Most likely. So that's the situation. Both those guys broke, and now we're going into the movement phase. Player tendencies. What does my opponent like to do?
Hold on, Stu. I just want to make sure that this is in fact the actual situation. So all those units did prep fire.
No. We haven't even rolled it yet. This is my plan. This is what I'm working off of Keith, and I'm showing you my plans for what we could do.
I just wanted to clear that up. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Let's say let's say it takes both stacks to prep fire and break that guy. You got again, worst case scenario. Now what do we do with these idiots left over? Okay. Is this guy going to threaten anything? The CX unit. Well, he's going to lose the CX when he moves. Now it's the movement phase. It's very important, this part of the plan of moving units in the order that you need to move them. Do they all need to go there essentially? And like if I wanted the 628 to make it appear, I wanted this guy to make it here, and I wanted this guy to make it here. Does it make a damn bit of difference on how I move those units? Your answer better be damn straight, Stu. It makes one hell of a difference on how you move those units. That answer is yes, 100% of the time. You move them based on what your risk is in all those situations. I want all those units in that position maximized so I don't get broken. How do I do that? Actually, this DM has gone over here. We do that based on how the game has been played, right? Standard situation. How does my opponent, based on my perception of my opponent, like to fire his units? Do you recall?
He always likes to wait for the high value targets to reveal themselves. He's going to wait for a shot at a leader or a mega stack.
There you go. John, you're really low, baby.
Sorry, I had to switch to a phone. Sorry about that.
No worries. I'll just crank your volume up. Say that again, please. Say that again, please.
He's going to wait for a high-value target to reveal itself, the 9-2 or a larger stack. He's shown that in previous turns to where he's let other units literally walk by him and not take a shot, waiting for a better target.
Okay. You are my opponent. What target are you going to wait for, knowing that these guys can't move and this guy can't move? What's your primary target when my units start to move?
I'm going to wait for the 628.
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking. So, taking that into account, we move our 248 first. Where is this guy going in the present situation? What do I want to do with this unit? First of all, I want to do a couple things. Mind you, a couple things can occur with this unit. A, his morale is pretty badass. And this is where we go with the strength of the units, like we were talking about with Keith before. Strength of units. Is that a strong unit? Yes.
It is.
And I will tell you the value of this unit. The same value that he had over here is what we're going to use over here. What about this guy? He's got another rally phase to come back. What do we want to do with this guy? Do we want to ignore him?
You want to DM him. You want to get close enough to where he DMs and has a much lower possibility of getting back in the game.
Okay. So let's take this movement factor. Let's take this. We're going to CX this guy because, first of all, 2 firepower, 2+3 in the advanced phase. If you're Jason's not going to do shit, I don't care. He's not going to be breaking anybody. We're CXing him. This is the plan now, guys. 1, 2. Is he going to fire on me?
No.
No, because he's going to have. He knows I'm likely going to be to U5, or maybe you go to V5 or VU6, right? Because these guys are up shit creek. He knows I'm coming. He knows I'm coming. I mean, if you don't know I'm coming, you're playing the wrong game. So, am I going to waste a shot on this little idiot over here? Nah.
No.
Because what's he thinking? Oh, he's just moving over there to DM that guy. Yeah, and I got a plan for him. 3, right? This is the assigned duties, Keith. 3, 4, 5, 6. What does that do for me? Is he going to fire there? I don't know. Huh? I mean, he could fire anywhere along the front, but he's going to fire there? No. Is this guy in danger? He could always route here, right? Let's see if that LOS exists. Well, you tell me if the LOS exists. From U8 to W6. You tell me if that LOS exists. Don't draw a line of sight. Look at it.
No,
It does not exist.
it does not.
From U8 to W6.
Yeah, I believe it does.
That should be an instantaneous clear shot.
Oh, wait a minute. W6. I thought you were looking. I'm sorry. I was looking at Yankee 6. My bad. X-ray 6.
Right. U8, W6, clear shot all day.
Yeah.
So can that unit route to W7?
No.
No.
Okay. Is he going to fire on this guy? If he fires on this guy right here and he breaks him, do we give a shit?
Nope.
Probably doing the happy dance again because he just did his first fire.
Right. Why wouldn't we give a shit, guys? Who thinks that we should give a shit about that unit breaking? Does that change anything of the situation? Does that change anything? It changes absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. We have to route first? Fine. I route there. Guess what? That's a damn clear shot. And even if the LOS from U8 to here is blocked, you know, God forbid to be blocked, but just by looking at the map, I know that it's not blocked. But let's say he breaks him. We route here now because we route first. Remember, timing. We route first, and we know we route first. So we route first, therefore, it excludes these buildings for him to route to. Guess what? You tell me the next unit I'm going to move. Let's say he goes over here and he doesn't break. Let's say that's the situation, okay? But this is the plan. This is what you need to look at. I moved there because I needed to DM him, and then I just continued on. Sorry, he's 6th as well. Is he a threat to the German? No. If I move in the building, don't control shit, I have 0 firepower, I have 0 influence. I'm not going to jump into close combat because he's just going to eliminate me by the same sort of situation we were describing over here. First of all, he's 2 to 1, -1, assuming he doesn't close combat. If he close combat, we're just gone. I mean, we're just gone. That's an 8 to kill that unit. He's just gone, straight up. We just, you know, we just throw him off, flick him off the board, you know. So he's not going to fire, right? And that's what we're planning on. He's not firing. If he fires, these guys get up there almost for free. Almost for free. Not for free, but almost for free. Who's the next unit we're going to move?
447.
Which one?
Victor 3.
Victor 3. Do we need to move him? Remember about obvious moves, gentlemen. Where do you want to move him, John? You tell me. I don't know where you want to move him. You let me know where you want to move him.
Victor 5.
Victor 5 or... Okay, Victor 5. We move him to Victor 5. Let's say he first fires the 468. Let's say he fires the... Let's say he first fires and we break. Let's just say he first fires.
Okay.
Okay, we first fires and break. That's fine. Do we have to route first? Yeah, we're kind of screwed. So he breaks. Backup plan, Keith. Backup plan. Who's the next unit moving?
The 628.
Where's he going?
Is the goal to get adjacent to the Germans, or is it to go into the stone building?
Well, now that goal's changed a little bit, isn't it? With this guy breaking. If we move up here, he's subsequent to fires. If he's subsequent to fires and we break, are we screwed?
Yes.
So would it have been better if he was going to shoot at the 628, where you anticipated for him to do that, to move the 628 first?
Yes, you could think of that. Let me show. God, where's the break on this? I am so stone dead up today for some reason. Well, other than going to bed late. But anyway, so here's the result. Let's say we move him, and we move him as well, right? What do these guys have to fire at?
447.
No, these two guys right here. These 468s.
He's behind the crest. He's behind the crest.
Oh, thank you.
Does he have anything to fire at? That's my question.
No.
No. Okay. If we move Kamkin over to the left to give leadership support, is he going to fire at Kamkin, knowing that these guys and this guy, he has no shots?
Yes.
That's his only selection. That's his only choice, right? So let's back up just for a second. Just for a second, gentlemen. I think he's right here, and I think he's right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Timing of movement. Okay, not first fired. You're a good man. Timing of movement. CX, this guy moves first. He's the linchpin. 8-mile unit needs to DM. He's got two objectives in his mission. DM, get into position. Not going to fire based on what we know of our opponent. We could be wrong. He might want to fire because now his back's up against the wall. I haven't shoved him against the wall before. Don't really know what he might do. You know, it's like a cat. Might be a nice cat. You know, you pet his tail, go ape shit on you, you know. So you don't know. So
Prefer dogs.
Yeah, dogs. Dog and just rips your head off, you know. So if we move all of our offensive units first, this easy move, that's the easy move, right? He knows they're coming. He knows about where they're going. Let's say if we threaten, I mean, this unit could possibly make it there, so therefore he might want to save that shot for that unit, right? And then especially if these guys weren't needed to prep fire, again, the plan can change slightly a bit. This gives us much more mobility. Is this guy scared shitless in X6?
Should be.
He should be. He's got 2, 4, 6 units that can get in the vicinity. He's planning on where he's going to fire. He's planning on his point blank shots and all that good shit. Is he going to care about Kamkin if Kamkin moves first?
Probably not.
Probably not. Let's give him a path for Kamkin to move. Kamkin CXs. Where am I moving Kamkin, gentlemen? I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where am I moving Kamkin when you see him come here?
Moving him to the 548s and DD7.
Okay. Are you going to fire on him when you see this entourage, this human wave coming with the 458 right behind it?
No.
Is this your target? Is this your priority target? When this guy's coming here, and this guy's coming here, and this 628's coming here, and this guy can come here. Is that your do you want to be first fired for this little bastard?
Nope.
No.
No. Okay, that's what we're planning on. Where's he going, gentlemen? Where's this guy going? He is not going to DD7. Where's he going? That's 5 movement factors right there.
I'd say Z6.
Nope. Close. Why don't we want to go to Z6?
AA7.
AA7, you get the freaking Cupid doll, baby. Here, and then here. Why? That's in the middle of nowhere, Stu. You're an idiot. What the hell are you doing?
Oh, so you're completely cutting off his route possibilities without even getting fired on.
Right, because that's not going to be a priority target. Now we get to move the rest of our bad boys. Now this guy, all he has to do is bip, bip, bip. This guy is eliminated in the route phase.
Wow.
Eliminated. He can't route here, can't route here, can't route here. Bye-bye, and guess what? When we move our 628s, we don't even move our 447s there. We put this badass, well, probably that badass and one badass right there. And then he advances there. Is the German up shit creek with this unit right there?
Yep.
That's 24 firepower in 2 units. And he's going to probably have a unit here, and this 628 could possibly go here. And if he's got big balls, he might go here. Giant balls. If this guy first fires, he might have giant balls and make it there. Don't know. If these other guys don't break, I might have big balls and throw them there. Do we need to? Not necessarily. Guess what? We got another turn. If we got these guys adjacent, guess what he has to do? is he going to take a 24 or 30 chart up 3? Remember, how many buildings do we need right here, gentlemen?
1.
Which building are we targeting with this move?
Both.
Primarily, which one do we want?
U7.
U7. Why do we want U7?
You've got more frontage on him. You can put the 3 stacks against him as opposed to 2 on Whiskey 7.
Right, and there's only 1 squad. 1 guy's right here. What's this guy going to do? He might skulk, right, and do this bullshit at the end of the turn. This guy most likely will skulk. 16 chart plus 3. If he breaks, what happens to him? Because our bad boy's right here.
And route. He's on the route.
He dies. You break, you die. Guess what happens next turn?
You occupy the building.
Is he getting that building back on any day of the year?
Nope.
In any galaxy far, far away?
Not in 1 turn.
All right. So that's our plan. That's my plan. Fire the units to try to break this unit. If he breaks, we go with plan A. Plan A, less likely to fire, most likely not going to be fired at if we make it look like we're moving over. We don't even have to go on the hill. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that'd be the same thing. 7, 8. We can go 7, 8 right here. Could he fire at us? Yeah. Still blocks out route path. Still going closer. Even here. Even there. Even here. That would be one hell of an LOS to check. I don't know if that's clear. That's closer than shit. It's probably blocked. But yeah, I'm just gonna call it blocked. I'm not gonna zoom in 8,000%. I'm just gonna, it looks like it's blocked, so I'm not gonna bother. But you want to be up on the hill to avoid this bullshit. Is he gonna fire at this guy coming across here? He might. Should he? Hell no. He's got 2, 4, 5, 8s at his priority, right? Priorities already been set for this 4, 6, 8 on the left hand side. If he wants to take this shot, guess what? We just have coffee. You know, that's 1 more turn he just gave us. Is he going to fire?
Well,
nope, because he's got to worry about these guys. He gets up on this hill for free, and that unit dies if he's broken.
Yeah. So I mean, so just to kind of bring it up for Keith, just as a general idea, you know, you have a general plan, and each turn you basically, you know, you come up with the how do I get closer to the goal. That's why you're constantly reading the victory gauge. You constantly remind yourself about where you need to be. And then the other main thing, as he says, is ASL SK, you know, is a game of maneuver, and the surest way to get rid of your opponent is to cut off his route path. And that's what you, as much as you can, that's what you want to be looking at. You know, sometimes you just have to fire. You know, sometimes you have to just punch him in the nose. And obviously, you know, as we said, the 9-2 leader, hey, his job was to punch him in the nose, get his attention. So now he's in a break situation. And then your object is, all right, now you want to make sure you try to cut off his route paths, and then obviously force him to route. You obviously have got to get a unit adjacent to him, so he has to route at that point. And that's what you, at least in my mind, that's what I at least hope that I'm constantly trying to do as I'm moving from turn to turn to turn. And as a defender, my goal is to try to deny my opponent that possibility. You know, make sure he doesn't get behind me. Make sure he, you know, make sure that as I'm routing back, I've got route paths that I can get to, you know, that allow me to continue. That's what you're thinking about.
Wow, that's awesome, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, gentlemen, Stu, I'm sorry, I've got a break for the evening.
No worries.
I get up early for work, but I really appreciate this tonight. Thank you.
No worries. Anytime.
Hey, Keith, can I throw one thing in before you sign off?
Yeah.
I'm probably about 1 month ahead of you as far as you know, your journey into SK and ASL and Vassal and all that sort of stuff. And what you're seeing right now, these sessions have probably helped me. That probably the one thing that's helped me more, other than just sitting there and studying the rule book every night for the past 2 years, understand how to put this game together. because what they're doing here on the screen for you is that they're showing you about half a dozen different scenarios in a game situation that you're not going to experience unless you go through 6 different games. And so you've been able to do that in 2 hours, which would take you otherwise probably 2 months to get a hold of. So keep coming back and just keep listening to the same stuff over and over and over again. And eventually the Teflon will start to wear off and some of this stuff will start to stick.
Right on. Well, I really appreciate it. Thanks, Stuart, and everyone. I appreciate you, your patience in walking us through this. It's pretty great, great lessons.
No problem, Keith. And if you haven't seen the other tactical studies, the other Tactical Tuesdays, watch them. We cover pretty much routing in every single one. And guess what? What do we just cover right here, gentlemen? Right here at the end game.
Routing.
We covered routing. We're using routing as an offensive option.
Excellent.
So that's what you need to know. Routing is just not running away. Routing is killing people in SK, especially. So
thank you, guys.
All right, take care, Keith.
Yep, have a good night.
Good night.
Cheers. Coming in here, Fennec here, coming in.
Yeah, sure, Fennec. How's it going?
With a question.
Yes, sir.
I've been following it all. It's quite interesting. One thing I've learned tonight, which I didn't realise by the look of it, is that a single man counter can also count as a block, if it were, for routing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Even for movement as well, right? Even for movement.
Yeah, well, that's I'd always assumed it just had to be multi-man counters who could cut off routes, not single-man counters as well.
Right.
Which is quite
No
interesting.
enemy unit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he were broken up there, Fennec, even if he broke me up here, let's say I moved there. Let's say I moved to Z6, right? And he broke me. Actually, I can be honest with you. That's probably a better choice, to be honest with you. Guess what? He first fires. What does that give these other guys? It gives them other opportunities. Because
much clearer run. Yeah.
Because the same routing restriction will apply. Guess what? I get to route first? Okay. First of all, I don't need to route because there's no known enemy unit within normal range because these guys are broken, right? I could stay right there. Or if I didn't want to get shot again because I just want to keep him alive for possible route restriction later, I low crawl him back here, which was my initial destination. Just like John had. He's still functional. That's gone. If anybody sees him, they still can't route towards him. So even broken, that actually might be a better shot right there, a better position right there. Whoever said Z6, I think it was you, John, right?
No, it's me.
Yeah. Oh, Mark?
It was Mark. It was Mark. Yeah.
Nah. No, so that actually might be a better... If your intent was to draw fire, if your intent was to cut route path only, cut route path, AA7 safe. If you want to draw fire and don't care if you break, Z6 is a better choice. Because even broken, you serve a purpose in this guy going over here. Okay? So even broken, and that would be, if you think that he would fire at him at that point, actually he might have to fire. Actually, he's screwed at that point. Once you reach the hill, he's screwed. Even if he fires, do we care if he fires there? That's a wasted shot. He has to KIA you there to make a difference. Or get a K result. I guess K result with a 5 or 6. Because if you're still broken, his restriction still applies. And we don't care at that point. But that's my movement plan for these guys right here. So if we get no results on the prep fire, where are we, gentlemen? If we get no results,
in a whole world of pain.
Yeah, we're in a world of hurt. What's his target going to be when he defensive fires? If we get no results,
Elkin.
Most likely going to be Elkin still. If we think Elkin is at risk, which he now presently is at risk, that's a 6-1 shot. Not a bad shot. If Elkin breaks, that's going to hurt because these 2 units are probably going to break as well. What might we want to do? These guys are prepped. We might want to force the issue. If he's going to hold his fire, which he's done before, we could just move these units. This guy's behind him. And this guy's going to have to CX 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just to get up there, or 6 for that matter. Move the 4, 4, 7 over here. right? And then we could advance fire these units, but he gets the shot first, right? That's something we have to deal with. Is that going to be an effective shot? Yeah, it's better than nothing, but we have to take it. But the same plan applies. We move him and we move the leader, just in case these guys need to move and break. If he breaks the advanced fire phase, does the plan still apply? Yes, the plan still applies because these guys are still in position. That is the key. Essentially, my key takeaway is the plan is not to break him this turn. The plan is only to break Koenig. If this guy comes, that's free. If Koenig is the major plan, because once he breaks and dies, what's that do to my opponent's morale?
Crack and wedge. Just
Right.
drive a wedge right in the middle.
Right. And then even this guy can occupy. These guys can advance up. We could do something like this. He might fire 16 chart. Elkin's obviously going to advance up somewhere. He really can't advance anywhere that's kind of useful. It'll be something like that. Now, we have so many targets for this guy to fire at. Can he concentrate on all these guys? Yeah, he can. But
Yeah.
But so
At
what?
that rate, he's going to run into morale checks then, isn't he? If he starts firing at everything moving next to him.
Yeah. Even if he prep fires, let's say he fires 8 up here and 6 even over here. 6 even, the 628 could laugh it off. 16 plus 3, the 458 should be able to laugh it off. Right? He should be able to laugh this off. And then he'll probably skulk back here. This unit, if alive, most likely I'll move in here so he can't just skulk back over there. Just to occupy a space in that building. He can't even skulk back there. He can't skulk out of the building, right? He has to stay there. Even if all these guys break up front. All those guys break up front. Let's see. Break, boom, boom, boom. All those guys break. Next round, what do we got? Well, first of all, if they break, well, they can't even route back to a route terrain where Elkin could get to them. So they're screwed. So they just either, they just low crawl backwards. So for all intents and purposes, pretty much out of it for the most part. I'm going to get one self rally on those guys next turn. It'll be one of the 8 morale units. It'll be this guy or that guy. But we still have 2 628s, 2 447s, 2 458s that are going to charge Kroger. All those guys at that point just have to swamp that guy and jump him. So that's the idea there.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go through you guys want to roll some dice real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's roll some dice real quick. Let's see how the plan envelops.
Yeah, because 3:15 in the morning here, so I think even it's my bedtime.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Again, it'll be
In for a
recorded.
penny, in for a pound.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to watch it, it'll be on the website, YouTube later. So
I'll be watching the dice. Don't worry.
yeah. So boom and boom. Remember, we rallied him earlier. We made that dice roll. So
yeah, you got to kind of put the Germans kind of get set up here.
no, that's good. That's good. Good enough.
Yeah, he's there and put him back there.
Details. Mark with all the damn details. We don't need details. This is not a game of details.
I know.
So, first shot, what are we going to do? Let's do a prep fire over here. Who wants to prep fire that shot? Fennec.
Go on, I'll roll it.
IFT that bad boy. Don't cower. Okay, 6. That is on the 16 chart. That's a good roll. 6,
Nice.
7, 8, 9. 1 morale check. Okay, John, roll a morale check for this loser.
Rolling morale check.
Okay, makes it. No problem. Do we care? Nah. Okay, he's prepped. Next unit, Elkin, right? That's the plan. That was the plan. We're sticking with the plan. Remember, the plan may be shitty, but that's our plan. So Elkin fires first because he's got the best chance of getting at least the lowest level morale check on Koenig. Could we move him up later? No, could we move him up here and here for later shots? Yeah. For later turns, that is a distinct possibility for you guys to do. I am 100% on board with you wanting to do that. But let's go. But we're going with my plan. This is my plan. I want to shoot this guy. This only gives me 1 shot later. This can be 1 shot, and then I can possibly lose him for advanced fire. So I want to break this guy because I want him to die. My plan is to kill this unit at the end of this route phase. So let's go with that one. Let's go, Mark.
All right.
Okay, there's our average 7. Guess what? What do we get?
Yeah.
8 on 12.
8 on 12, and we got rate of fire with our machine guns.
Yeah, well, yeah, we got a little lucky there.
8 on 12. 8 on 12? Oh, that's a good shot. Really?
Yeah, 8 on 12. Yeah, 8 on 12.
All right, good deal. So average roll.
Yep.
Okay. Robert,
Okay.
Koenig. Koenig morale check first.
All right, Koenig.
Okay, you're my favorite person now. All right.
Quad.
Okay. Okay, you're a
That's
bastard.
just
You're a
that's
bastard.
just jammy.
Well, except now the squad is stick pin check. Or does no, he
All
doesn't.
right.
He doesn't.
Yeah. No, not at all. He's unaffected.
Yeah.
So we did break, but we did get half of what we did, sort of like a pin, right? This is exactly what we thought of what would happen. Now this guy's susceptible to cowering. Okay, not bad. We got half of it. I'm impressed. I like it. So, next question, since that changes, do we wish to fire the 628s on him as well?
Yes.
Okay, let's go with that plan. I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that. Because we don't have to fire the 447. Do we want to fire the 447 as well? We want to fire 16 chart? 16? We still have 4 guys to move, remember?
Oh,
Yeah.
what the hell? Throw for 16.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go for it.
I don't mind the 16. I really don't like the 16 chart, but that's a +3 building. And if he doesn't break, the 248 doesn't necessarily go on the back, and the 80 does go up on the hill. Okay? That's the primary mission for him to break. So we're going to try to break him. Actually, no, hold on. Back up, baby doll. Because we have rate of fire. We had rate of fire on the LMGs.
Yeah.
So we haven't fired anybody else. We got rate of fire on the LMGs. That is a 4-up-1 shot. So,
Yep.
Mark, you may proceed with your LMG shot.
There we go. All right, I'll take it. 4 + 1.
Oh, damn, you're good.
7 on a 4. It's a
Pin
pin
task
check.
check. Eve, that's not bad. That's not bad. All right. Robert, pin task check that guy. 6. Okay, not bad. That's normal. He's an 8 morale, but we got a second free shot, which we didn't count on. That could have been disastrous for him. Now we prep. Now we fire the big boy. Now we fire the boys here. Who wants to make this shot?
I'll take it.
All right. Don't screw up.
Rolling.
Our average 7. Thank you for making an average 7. So that is a 10 on the 16. That is a normal morale check. Not bad. 8 morale. Roll the leader. Robert, Mark, anybody? Roll it.
All right, leader.
Okay. Fine.
Quad.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the situation we had before. So
Yep.
now it might change how we move. It actually gives him more firepower over on this side for the 248. Do we want to fire anybody else? We're going to ignore the bottom because remember the bottom's free, but we're going to move the 458 up here because in my opinion the bottom is free. So this is what we have to work with, the 458 and up. We want to move. So who do we move first? The 248? That's CX the 248.
Yeah.
We're going to do a 1, 2. Again, he might fire. I don't know. He's got more firepower available to him now. So again, the plan might actually change because Cam can go over here. I think that still might be legitimate, but I don't think it really matters now because he's not broken. We still want to DM this unit, and this unit in the back will stop these guys from either routing backwards or at least skulking backwards. So that makes a big difference in what he might do. I still think he's going to save his fire point. But guy up on the hill is not going to fire on him. Not going to happen. And I don't think he's going to fire on me either. So I'm going with that. Or would you fire on him, knowing that you've got 3 units left? Would you take a shot right here? You might. Let's fire the LMG. Let's fire the 2-2. Let's fire the 2-2 right here. Let's just say, okay, he did well. He's got his full firepower up on the hill, and he thinks he can withstand all these guys with this unit. So we're kind of free to fire him. Let's fire that. Does not cower. A 4 on the 2 chart is a 1 morale check.
Yep.
He pins. This unit is not DM.
Ooh.
Okay. Where's the pin? God, I can't ever find the pin. Control P. Control P. Pins that guy. Can't move over there. Do we care too much? Can the 628 do the same job that the 248 was going to do in DMing this unit? Yeah. If he moves up here, this will be a one shot. That'll be a 1+1, right? If he moves up here, if only he moves up here, that's out of range in the advanced fire phase. Should be half because it is the advanced fire phase, right? So half of 6 is 3. Another half is 1.5, right? 1.5.
Yeah, but that'd be a 1+3. That's not enough to.
No. That's wooden. That's wooden. That's just woods.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So 1+1, we can still DM him, which is now a priority. This is now a priority. We're still going to move these guys up here, but we need this guy DM'd. If he moves up here and he breaks, what happens? The 447 comes over here, 2s, 3s, maybe even 2-3 shot, and then we get a shot on him. He needs to DM because he will rally next turn. Don't really care about the leader. The leader will probably route back. He'll probably route down here. Okay, so but that's what needs to happen. So let's do what this guy wants us to do. So he's got that. How do you want to approach this guy here, knowing that if you break, right, that you might be in trouble? We do have a leader here, so this leader can move to wherever he needs to in case guys start breaking. He can reach almost any destination on the map. In this case, you might want to move the 4-5. This guy might want to move first. CX. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's move this guy CXing here, right? Where could he go? Right? Like if we get stuck in the situation where these guys need to move over here to fire over here, that's going to slow the beginning of the board. What can this guy do? This guy can actually make it over there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be a 2+2 shot. Is that enough to DM that unit?
Yeah, it is just enough.
Yeah. So we now still have the primary mission for these guys as maintained because we had the free 458 to come do the job that the 248. Well, yeah, he can't even do that now because he's going to be have firepower. He can't even fire on this guy because he's pinned. Pin really screws you guys. Pin is worse than a break in my opinion. It's just terrible things. So he moves there. This unit is not moved. This unit is not moved either. So how else do you want to move these units up there? Do you want to move the 447 first? You could bait one straight up shot. I might be inclined because we have Camkin that can rally. Right? We can go 2, 3 right in his face. Most likely he'll take that shot because there's only 2 other units to move. Okay, so let's take that shot. Most likely he'll probably do the I don't think he'll fire both. I think he'll fire just one. Let's go with the let's say he's going to use fire. Let's say he's going to save the 468 in case the 628 wants to move close. Let's say he's going to fire the LMG again. This LMG first fired over here. Oh, oops.
Okay.
There, support weapon. There you go. So he's got a squad there and he's got a squad here. So let's fire 6-2 or 6-1. We're assault moving. Actually, he moved 4, 2-4. 6 minus 2.
-2. Yeah.
Do it, Mark.
Oh, all right.
Roll soft. Okay, good. Hey, what happens, guys?
Cower.
6 on 6.
Right. First thing you want to look at is cowering. First thing you want to look at is cowering.
Yep.
Boom. Why does he cower? Because Robert broke the leader. So that is a 4 on the what chart?
No, that's
an 8.
6 on the 6.
Is it a 6?
6 on the 4.
6 on the 4. We fired the LMG. Remember, right?
Normal morale check.
Okay, yeah.
Because we're going to save the 4 firepower for the 628 that might be moving up.
Okay, yeah. So
remember, that's who he likes to shoot at. So that's what we're basing our attack on. So
Okay,
that's a morale check.
Normal.
A normal? Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yep.
So yeah, 6 on the 4. Normal. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Robert, take that MC, baby.
All right, morale check.
Ugh. That's all right. That's what we expected anyway, right? 7 morale men. Remember, the weakest unit, 7 morale unit. Most likely he's going to break. No problem. Buddy's final fire. So what can we do with all the other units? He's not CX'd.
There are 2 residual there?
Yep, 2 residual there.
Yep.
6, 3, 6, 3, 2, yep, 2. 6, no, 4. 2, yeah. 2 either way. Whether you cower on the 6, okay, yeah, 2 either way.
Yeah, power down to the 4, yeah.
Right, cower down to the 4. So, he's broken. Where's he going to route to? First thing you need to think about, where's he going to route to? Where can he route? Clear the map off if you need to see. Where can he route? He's at W5. Let me put a marker there. We're right here in W5.
You can go to U4.
He can go to U4. Where else could he go?
Well, you can go to U4. You can go to
X2.
X2. Any other locations? Actually, X2 is too far.
You can go to, well, let's see. It looks like you can go to Y5.
Y5?
Yeah, Y5,
U4?
U4.
There's
They're
another
all-
location where he can go. Well, there's 4 other locations where he can go.
We can go into the orchards, can't he?
Where's that? The orchards? Oh, nope. Remember, closest in MF.
Yeah.
There's 3 other locations that he can go. U5, right? That's 3. That's 3. That's 3.
Yep.
U5.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Got it.
He can low crawl to V4, right, on the way to U5. He can low crawl to X4 on the way to Y5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can he low crawl to W4?
He could.
Where's he going? Is he going to the nearest cover?
Well, that's
I guess not.
an interesting question.
Long way, right?
Yeah, I mean,
He's not going towards his destination. He's paralleling and all his destination. He can't look all W4. X4, V4. He still has to go towards it. Because he's only moving 1 hex. Because theoretically, if you say, well, he could technically if he could skirt a route, like he could route to X4, X3, W4, V3, W4, so he could low crawl X4 if these don't exist. Well, you're moving away from your target at that point. You're really not moving towards it. You're only low crawling 1 hex. That's your entire movement phase. You've got to move towards your destination. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where would you route that unit? Again, this is what you think when he breaks. It's like, okay, I need him up. He needs to be up. We've got Romanian rally phase, Russian rally phase. He needs to be up. Where do you want him? Remember, we have Kamkin, and this leader over here could only advance. So he's not getting to our bad boy back there. Kamkin's got to go to his destination. What's our next move? Think of our next move, gentlemen. Who are we moving next? Let's move this guy next. Why do we want to move this guy next over the 628? Well, actually, it doesn't. Yeah. Why do we want to move? It kind of doesn't matter. Which one would you move? This guy or this guy? Remember, he's final fired. If he shoots again, it's a morale check. Which he'll take. Which he has to take. I think, in my opinion. Well, he has to take it. But I would take it to break as many inches as possible, especially 447. So we could go. We could move the 628 here clearly, right? Do we want to move the 628 here necessarily, knowing that all of our units have fired and we won't get a lot of support? That's a possibility. That's a high risk, right? Because the 468 has not fired yet. Right, the 468 has not fired, and he has subsequent first fire. Not that it matters in this case, because it's going to be at 11 chart, so it's going to be 11. 11
Well, it's
even.
going to be even, right?
8 even, right. So a 7 is a 1 morale check, which pins us anyway. So, and then this guy's going to final protect the fire here. He's taking 2 shots there, an 8 minus, an 8 even, or maybe we can go 2. Maybe we can even move into here at a 2 minus 2. A 2 minus 2 is a 6 even shot, which is better than the V5. This guy's going to final protect the fire probably regardless. Okay, so if we take the residual first, let's take the residual first, the 2 minus 2. Do we have to move in there adjacent? This is where Keith left, probably the wrong time. This might be the case where you want to do a Keith. What's the purpose of this unit moving here? Is it just willy-nilly? Are we just moving him there just to move him there? What happens if we survive that shot and remain unpinned? Where are we going?
Is it time to charge for the motherland?
This is where you want to jump into close combat.
Yeah.
Why do we want to jump into close combat? 1, his 8 minus 1 leader isn't going to be there to give him an advantage. He's gone.
Yep.
Right? He's going to be gone. If we survive this attack, our objective is close combat. Now we have a 3-2 against his 1-1.
Right.
At this point, since he survived our massive prep fire, he's a badass. 6-8 morale. This is what 8 morale units do, guys. This is what they do. They survive 1 morale checks all day long. Okay? He happened to final fire, screwed himself. So this is the best situation we could have hoped for if we didn't break it. If we survive this shot here, it's a 2 minus 2, and he's probably going to subsequent for final protect fire at 6 minus 2. Then we could try that. But we want to get into close combat. If both of these units fire at him, does that help us? Does that hinder us? I don't know. He's probably going to have other targets to shoot at. And guess what? Our unit is tied up in close combat, so he's not going to be able to occupy his building. So it's a lower priority target when the rest of these units are going to be showing up there. But that's the plan in taking that 2 minus 2 shot. Is it just because we're desperate? No. That's a good shot. If that fails, the 447 probably wants... that's rough. Because again, 7 morale. We don't want to move here because we have no other units to move. That's his only shot he's going to take. 16 even. That's a no-brainer. We're not moving here. We're not moving there. We're taking 2 minus 2 over this every single day of the week. Because we're not doing that. Right? Yeah. We're not going there. There's no reason to be an X5. None. Because even if we break and we want to count route pass, we will have to route first. Guess what? We route the W5. Is anybody going to be there to rally that unit? Maybe. You could argue. You could break there, Stu, and come over here because these units can route over here and Campkin can come behind him. That's what you need to look at. Campkin moves last. At this. Remember, if we broke him, Campkin moved second after the half squad. The half squad moves. If he objective back here, Campkin then moves over here. Since that failed, Campkin moves last because he's cleanup duty now. His objective in the game just changed. So we can move units in here. All those units can route to the same destination. Is the stone building a destination that they can route to? Absolutely. And you say, Stu, let's say all these units break. Well, let's say most of the units break, and the 628 doesn't. Right? Well, let's move to it. Let's just freaking do it. That's what we're here for. We move in there. 2 minus 2. Somebody, do we take the roll already?
No, we haven't.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
Yep.
All right, 2 minus 2. Fennec, do it, baby. Nothing low. 7. I love your average 7, guy. This is pretty much perfect. So that's a normal morale check. All right, John, don't let me down, baby. We got 8 morale. No pins. You pin
Rolling
us.
morale.
You screw us. Well, you didn't pin us, so he broke. Okay. Guess what? We're stacking up units. Do we want to move the 447 in there? We're going to be taking a 2 minus 2 and a 6 minus 2. Is he going to survive both those shots with the 8 morale unit just ate shit?
Probably not.
We probably want to take our lumps and be done with it. But where can we move him to? X4. Can he fire on us?
No.
Nope. What are we going to do next turn? Okay, this is the situation. I move him there. Camkin. Where do we want to move Camkin?
Yankee 5.
Yankee 5. This is an 8+2 shot in the prep
Oh,
fire phase.
My bad. Yeah.
What's this shot over here?
Taking U5 probably, technically a 6-up-3 at that point.
Right. 6-up-3. We could move him down here. What's the problem moving him down here, gentlemen?
He's going to be too far away at that point.
Yeah, he's got to go back up the hill. Can we move him down here, and can he go around the backside? Yeah, absolutely. But the hill gives us, a slight better chance. We could move him down. That would be the 100% safest way. Considering his 468 is going to be is in existence, and this other guy here is in existence. Pretty much, we did nothing this turn, right? But that's okay. That's why we play the game. But now, advanced fire. We're not going to really have any advanced fire. 2+3. You could take that shot. Go ahead and take that shot. We're firing 2+3. Somebody just roll. I don't care. There you go. 2+3. Boom. No effect. That's exactly what we expected.
Yeah.
And then we go to route phase. Eliminate the defensive fire.
I want to make sure your leader.
Oh yeah, we're gonna move the leader. Yeah, move the leader. So where do we want to? U5. All he has to do is fire on us, and he's just going to DM us again, right? Because we have no units to pressure him in V5. No one can get to V5 to pressure this unit. We don't want to go here because this guy's got nothing else to fire at. He's going to fire 8 up too. In that case, I think U4 is probably the best chance. And the reason why I think that is we go to U4. If both of the and then he goes 2, 3, 4. Even if he couldn't make it, let's say he's over here. 2, oops. He could actually see if he was back here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, let's move a little closer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then he could advance in there. Even CX, the CX will not affect his rally capabilities. Okay, so even if he's far away, get that guy to that location. Okay.
Right. We had one more technically attack to make. We had that 2 up 2.
Yeah. 2 up 2. Go ahead, make the attack. That's just a regular DM attack.
Yep. All right, I'll take it.
That's right.
All right,
no
nothing.
problem. That's just a DM attack. That's the only thing. Yeah, absolutely. Boom. He's probably going to route, but we don't really care. Yeah, because all these guys are CX'd again, so he can route without interdiction. But again, we're here, so he just has to route. We're just going to route him back. We're just going to say he's going to route there.
All right.
Okay. We route over here.
Does the German leader stay where he is? I mean, right now.
No, he's going to route back. I'm sure he's going to route back.
Okay.
He might route back to here. I would route that here. I would route to there. Because we actually no, I'd have to route. I would probably route him back there. If he wants him up and running for the next shots, this will get him rallied. If he goes here, I'm just going to advance here, and he's going to stay DM'd because he can't fire on him until the prep fire phase. He has to keep his DM at that point. So if he wants to lose the DM, he'll lose it back there.
Okay, yeah.
And then pretty much he has to fire on him anyway, because I'm going to fire 2+3, or well 8 up 3 maybe, but I might want to DM the leader. But that's a choice we have to kind of look at later. So we routed there, and we have advance phase. Where are we going to advance to? Remember, we got to put pressure. 6 to 8 LMG's probably going to go over here. Right? 458. Where can the 458 on the right hand side advance to? Can you go to U5?
Yeah, stone building's probably the best bet, isn't it? 1 hex.
Yeah, but you have to go CX to get up there.
He's CX Fennec. CX
It's already,
True.
Yeah.
True.
So he's kind of screwed in that aspect.
Kind of stuck.
Yeah, the guy over here's pinned. He's stuck. Could we move him over to T4? Yeah, it's possible. Absolutely. That actually might not be quite so bad, because now we can later on we can force him to shoot at a 458 unit to go over here instead of just laying residual right in front of her face. You know, I would argue that this wouldn't be a bad choice to force this issue on this side.
Yeah, you're getting a little closer. Yeah.
Right? You know, because this guy's still functional in the middle. You know, all he's going to do is lay down a wall of residual firepower. So we got to pressure him here to either force your shot if he takes that shot, and of course Elkin can move. Elkin's kind of screwed, to be honest with you. Again, moving in Y5 might have been a really good choice in hindsight, but we took our best shot, and that's what we have to live with, gentlemen. Take your best shot, live with it. Could he have moved here and lined up the shot later on? That's 2, 4, 6, 6 plus 1. Arguably, that would be the same thing. Again, we'll go over that in just a second. So he just advances up. Let's say we just do this wall here so he can't break up the fire group. This fire group is intact, regardless of where he shoots. He's going to get shot with a lot of firepower. Okay, so what's he going to do? What's this 468 likely going to do?
Find a basement.
Right. He's probably gonna run away. He's probably gonna go to his 8-1 leader. That's what I would anticipate, and that's kind of what you're forcing him to do. If you want him to shoot, you put 2 units in 1 hex to give him a target to shoot at. Do you want to do that? That's based on your game plan. You've got a couple broken units here that we have to address. Okay. So this is the situation of the turn. Okay. Rally phase.
I'm going to have to sign out now, guys, because it's the sun's starting to come up over here.
No problem, thanks. Hey, guys, that proves the sun's coming up tomorrow, so make all your bets now.
So I'll leave you gentlemen to it. I'll catch up on the rest of it on a video playback
Excellent.
or something later
Excellent.
on.
All right. Yeah,
I'll just X my way. Yeah, just X my way out of it, can't I?
Yeah, you could go disconnect the phone thing. No, yeah, you can't X on the top. You can
I'll exit on the top, and then it's all gone.
yeah. Then you have to really pop it back up. Yeah, it's kind of wonky. Some applications are that way. So,
okay.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, Fennec, and catch the rest of it. Any questions you have?
Indeed, very educational.
Yeah, thanks. Any questions you have, just prop them up, and that's what we're here for. I'll
do that. Nice.
All right, take care, Fennec. Thanks for coming.
You too.
So rally phase, Romanian turn. Romanian self-rallies this guy in the back, right? Again, we don't care about the bottom. Self-rally in the back, let me pop him. Doesn't rally. DM's gone. Leader rally. No rally. That's gone. Again, we didn't jump into close combat over here. You know, I think he took a shot back. Yeah, we took a shot over there. We did that earlier. So we have rallies here. We have what? What do we need to rally these guys over here?
5-4.
5-4. Nope. Hopefully they will rally next turn. Okay. All right. So what we'll do there, gentlemen, is this is about the 2 hours into it. Almost, yeah, just over 2 hours into it. We'll save it here. Let me give you a quick rendition. If we didn't want to fire, going back to the other situation. Let me save this. I'm just going to do I'm going to do part 1 log. End game. And this is another thing you could think about. Remember, based on your game plan. Boom, save it there, because otherwise I'll forget. Go back to our other game plan that we have real quick. It takes us 2 seconds. 447s are here. 628's right there. Hankins back here. This guy's down here. This guy's over here. Let's say we wanted to go, instead of the prep fire mode, we want to go to the movement mode. Right? He's up here. This is where you do the wall of assault moving. Right? You could assault move a 628 here to bait a shot. Most likely he may fire. Okay. And then assault move. He can't assault move, but he can go 4 there, right? Most of these guys aren't going to be shot at. The 628 in the back, based on how much residual is here. Actually, if we just want to end up there, at the end of the turn, we could fire him 8+3. Let's just say we will just want to advance there. We're just gonna fire him 8+3. This guy can move 1, 2, because he's gonna fire, or he's gonna wait for Elkin. Guess where Elkin's going? Right, and then we could take that shot. If we want to take that shot, 6 even and 8 up 1, we can take that shot. Elkin's got the strong force. He can withstand those attacks. This is another viable option. Instead of prep firing, we can, instead of use our mobility, get a little bit closer, right? Get a little bit closer, and look at our force there. Let's say he breaks the same 2 guys, or just 2 other guys, and Cam can move on the right hand side. This guy moves over here, DMs him. And let's just say he pins right there, like he did before, but this guy's DM'd because he's moving first, and we're not attacking. Actually, he might not want to take that move. He might just want to move up and then just shoot him, and then do the end around later at the end of the game. Actually, it doesn't really matter at that point. So he prep fires, and everyone assault moves. We could take our advanced fire. This guy's gonna get blasted because we could advance fire everyone. Most likely he'll attack the unit in the middle to break up the fire group. Okay, which is a good shot. But we have Elkin, the bad boy. Elkin could then fire in the back. He could potentially fire to break these units. Why would you want to choose the difference between the 2 there at this location? Why would you not want to fire at Koenig and instead fire at the 468s? Why would you switch your option from this building? Essentially, that's what you're doing. I don't want to fire him because he's not in a building. If I fire at him and break them, odds are going to be low, right? Odds are going to be low. It's a 6+1. But if both of these guys, in the long shot that both these guys break, they have to route back, and now he's got to send a leader back in his turn, because this is our turn. He's got to send the leader back in his turn to rally those units up. So now the leader's off the front line. Could Koenig drop back? He might do something like this in face of this number of units, and he has a stack over here. But what's that do? That leaves the back door open. Now we have +3 terrain. Right? Now we can move out. Outcome is going to be moved up. Now we get assault move up here, because now our objective is going to be this building. Well, actually, at that point, it could be both of them. We could assault move everybody up. These guys can strictly run into that building. He could run up here, and Elkin could go over here. So at that point, we have an option to grabbing both buildings based on how many guys were broken here. Let's say he broke like 2 guys. Let's say this guy's not there, and this guy's going to advance up, of course. Let's say 2 guys broke, and so they're not in the picture. This is kind of what we're looking at if we do the movement option, and we could do that scenario. We could do that scenario next time. Let's just do the movement option to see how that plays out. We pretty much have the worst case scenario, but we try to make up for it, and at least we got his leader off the hill, and it will force his unit back. It makes it very difficult for our last move, but it's still viable. At that point, we have to move everyone forward and bear the brunt of the wall of fire. But we have them both saved, and we can continue. We'll continue last. What we're going to do is we're going to continue our assault based on the last move that we made, and then we can reset it, and then just do the movement option first, just so you guys can see the 2 differences in execution. Yes, there's a bunch of dice rolling, but Elkin, you could argue Elkin's in a better position than what he is in now, because again, he's just going to route out. He's not going to have defensive fire. Same thing here. If Elkin moves here, both these guys have to move. They have to move back because Elkin's going to fry them. So that's a huge option. In that case, even firing the 1 stack here, you might want to do a combination of firing the 1 stack and then move Elkin up here, because he's threatening here. It depends if you want to take that shot first. Good, tough thing. 6+6 even. He should be able to laugh that off all day long. This is probably a better move than firing him, to be honest with you, after reflecting upon it. Probably a better move than, because he's, could he fire them all? 12+1? Yeah. Same thing as, it's not too bad. 12+1, he still should be able to shake that off. And if one of those guys breaks, then we just, when this guy assault moves up, then he just takes his place. And at least we still get an 8 shot out of it. Or the 628 moves over there. something like that. So we'll run through that scenario as well. But Elkin can be used offensively. Another offensive option here, and then when he has to skulk, because he likes to skulk, remember, then Elkin can make the move here later on. Independently, he can move those guys in independently. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that guy right there. I mean, you could choose it independently. The last guy, if he doesn't fire at the first guy going in there, then you just move it independently, because then he's just going to wait for the last guy. Then you just move them all one at a time. So that gets us a little closer. Will we break? I don't know. It's going to get a little tighter. So lots of little things have to happen. But even if only one of those guys breaks and one guy stays there, and we're still here, we're still going to get a defensive fire shot on him. Say he skulks back. Let's say he skulks back and then goes back forward. We could still advance in this location there, or actually advancing here would be better, because now we have that shot and this shot, and we have the height advantage. So Elkin's move is probably better. I might still take the 16 plus 3, which is still a good shot, and then move Elkin here when this fails. Elkin's going there either way. So that would be another interesting scenario that we can analyze. But he was in good position after we didn't really come out with anything there. But the whole opportunity was everything broke apart in the plan, and that's exactly what we want to see. When everything fails, how do we make the best of the worst situation? Because it's really easy to win the game when you roll snake eyes and everyone breaks. It's real easy. So I like that. I like that most of the rolls you guys rolled were 7s, which is the average roll, which is kind of like a normal game would be. We rolled some good 4s, a couple 5s, a couple 6s. That's a normal game. And so it's going to be good to see. We'll complete the Russian turn, and then we'll reset it real quickly and do that slight movement to see if it makes a difference. Or what you guys could do, since you have the save, if you guys have the save, you could feel free to set it up, and you can do it yourself. And what you can do, actually, I that would be great. If you wanted to run through that sort of situation, run through a different situation that you have in your head, and come back with the average results. Like if you're all snake eyes, those are long shots, but they do happen. But that's just something we kind of have to look at, and just in case we miss something here. Pick something up, take the same setup, don't fire anybody, and just assault move everybody forward independently, and just take shots like you normally would as the German player, and try and do your best to break the Russians, and then see where you would be with the Russians at the end of that turn. So shouldn't take too long, and that'd be pretty cool. I mean, that way you come back with a little synopsis report, and maybe we could speed on to the other move or talk about other things. Okay?
Stu, could you give us a good last setting for the Russian position? Because I think you've got that stack of 447s down south a little bit out of position.
Oh yeah, okay. Let me just reset it. Let me reset with the file. I'm gonna go part 3, and I'm just going to forward this log. Okay, what? I hit advance. What's going on here? Okay. You can go ahead and resync with me. Either exit the room or just hit resync, and I'll put the Russians up in the position where at the beginning of this turn that we had.
Okay.
That should be it right there. You don't have to. You can just save game there, and then that will get you the starting point. Again, you could do your own rally on the unit X0 just in case he doesn't rally. And remember, the CX is going to be gone at the beginning of the movement phase. So you could probably fully move him, because everyone else is going to be assault moving. And he's probably going to wait for Elkin to move anyway. Again, player tendencies. He's probably going to wait for Elkin to move, because if Elkin moves fast over here, that's a really good spot for Elkin, is it not, gentlemen? Elkin in the U5 building is probably the best spot at this point.
Wow. Yeah, that would be interesting.
And so if he's waiting for Elkin to move over there, he can't get over there otherwise. He has to move on the hill. So if Elkin's not moving first, he's moving last. If you could bait shots by moving to W5 to get this guy to first fire, Another guy, you might want to move him straight up to give him a -2 shot. Even if this guy dies, if he subsequently fires, Elkin gets to the stone building. And then the game is over. The game is over at that point. You win. Elkin goes here with these 2 squads and a 6-8. The game is over. So that's another situation there. And you have, if you recognize that, assuming your opponent recognizes that, assume your opponent recognizes that and then play accordingly. But can he ignore all these guys in front of him? That's a defensive decision that you have to make. If he ignores them, he gets 1 shot. If he fires on them, he can get up to 4 shots. That's a tough choice when you got Elkin that can destroy everything in the stone building. So yeah, I had already thought of Elkin trying to get over here. It's like, oh my god, I can't move him over there, and I know he's going to wait for Elkin to move.
Yeah.
So you could try to bait him with really good shots. Again, X5 is probably out of the question, but that's up to you. That's up to your plan. So this is the screen here. Set up your particular scenario for this screen. You can have try to get Elkin to U5, try to get Elkin to Y5, assault move guys, fire everybody. 1 big fire group, 1 giant fire group to break Koenig. That could still be an option. You can fire 1 giant fire group and fire on Koenig, and then Kamkin and the 248 can do the same thing because you have a couple units here that can still move. That could still be a viable option. But yeah. So both choices are good, gentlemen. I thank everyone for coming. You guys are great. I enjoy you guys adding all your knowledge and questions and everything that I miss and everything that, whatever, something that you miss, something I miss. Just good questions along the way. And I'm glad Keith showed up. I know he's been wanting to jump in and he's just been busy. And I think he had a lot of questions, what to do with units. And we kind of went over that. For me, I assign units tasks. All my units, well, not all of them, most of my units, specific units, have tasks that need to get done. And then I make sure other units are kind of in the vicinity in case they botch it. Or, you can throw all your eggs in one basket and just hope that it works. And hoping doesn't usually get the job done. Again, that's kind of why we're here. We don't want to hope for a win. We wanted to plan for the best win. So if we don't, then we don't win. That's the simplest fact. Again, we still need to roll dice. We still need to make good decisions. And making good decisions will pay off in the long run, just like it does in real life. Imagine that, guys. So all right, so that's anyway, one part of the attack plan that we have down. We can see what an average results were. A lot of the attacks were 7s. A lot of the morale checks were 7s. The maneuvers were all, disjointed and dislocated. What we're going to do next time is try to attack it with like a move attack feature. And so maybe get Elkin into position where he needs to fire on him. Elkin may need to take some heat for our boys to get up there a little closer. He might not fire on our boys that are getting close to him. If he does, Elkin's free to move. I don't think my opponent wants to do that. So we're going to plan accordingly. And then we'll also just do a straight movement on that. So look at the end of the file. Take a picture snapshot on it. If you want to join in the conversation next time, take a look at it, say, this might be a good idea, Stu. Bring it to the table next Tuesday. We'll all listen to it. We'll all decide upon it and say, hey, let's roll some dice. We'll see you next time on Tactical Tuesday.